Ladbrokes, Paddy Power, Unibet and William Hill.
Well, a very good warm welcome to Racing Post Greyhound TV this evening, this Saturday night. Fantastic action, both sides of the Irish Sea. We are bringing you the third round heats of this year's Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby and some fantastic action over both 4 and 6 bends at Monmore. The Ladbrokes Gold Cup and the Ladbrokes Summer Stayers Classic, both featuring 6 round heats of both 12 races, open racing all the way through. So fantastic action. Stay with us here on Racing Post Greyhound TV. What have we got in store for you? Well, I've already served up what is on the menu, but a total of 22 races. We'll take the first 10 from Shelbourne Park, starting at 7:20, but Monmore not too far away now, 16 minutes to our first race, the 6:17 all the way through to 9:32. As I mentioned, 12 races, 6 first round heats of both of the two competitions, worth £10,000 to the winner. Well, a couple of changes to the advance card at Monmore. We'll bring you them as we get to each race, but they all go as advertised in the paper. As for Shelbourne Park, 9:24, Droopy's Got It in the black jacket is out, and that trap will be vacant. Okay, which trap will notch the most wins then across both of our tracks, those 22 races in question? And the red jacket, 15-8 Jolly up on the inside, but it is very competitive this evening at both tracks, so take your pick there, tally up which track gets the most. Right, emails, rpgtv@racingpost.com. Who do you fancy to win the competitions we're showing tonight, and who do you fancy to win our races tonight? Twitter account at RP Greyhounds. We are live on YouTube as well, the Racing Post Greyhound TV YouTube channel, so do get in touch with us there. Drop a comment below, give us a like, and of course give us a subscribe as well. Anna's joining me shortly in the studio, but our main man is on site in Dublin as well, Rob Catterson. He's going to be at Shelbourne Park and we're going to join him now.
Well, they say the Irish Greyhound Derby really starts tonight, and that's because for the first time in this year's competition, we get to see all remaining greyhounds racing on the same card. A very warm welcome to Shelbourne Park here for third round night of the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby, and what a night of action we've got to look forward to here at Irish headquarters. And it's the third round which you could say is dominated by numbers. 47 greyhounds still remaining in the competition. 8 of those are bitches, and of course they'll all be hoping to follow in the paws of Susie Sapphire from a couple of years ago. Of the 47, 34 are inside seeds, we've got 4 middle seeds, and we've got 9 wide seeds. And would you believe it? We've got 7 greyhounds who are still unbeaten after the first 2 rounds of the Classic. And remember, just after 9:25 tonight, those 47 will be whittled down to 24 ahead of next week's quarter-final action. As per usual, we'll be doing our best to catch up with the connections and getting the latest on the big names running here tonight at Shelbourne. But as we said, it's a card which is dominated by numbers, and the number 1 is the magic number for us, because there's only one channel you can see it all night long on, and that is Racing Post Greyhound TV.
Good stuff. Good to hear from Rob as well. That man has a fine knack of interviewing someone connected to the winner of the next race. So look out for who Rob grabs between each of the races tonight. He's our man on the scene in Dublin. Big night there. 8 third round heats of the 2023 Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby. The stars are on show both sides of the Irish Sea. And I'm now joined in the studio by Anna. A little bit late on parade, but we're here.
Yes.
You've made the first race, so it's all good. All is well.
A few technical issues, but glad to be here. And what a great night racing we do have in store. Like Dave has just said, really looking forward to the third round of the Irish Derby and some brilliant racing at Monmore to be looking forward to. So plenty to come. Rob is great at getting those all those great interviews in. So I'll give you my selections. Got a bit of of both tonight. My nap is going to be in the 8:32 at Shelbourne. Droopy's Bro going in trap 1. Now, I was just absolutely amazed at his run last week in the second round, where he was drawn out in 4. He is desperate for the rails. He got a lot of trouble in the earlier stages, but still managed to get up to finish second. Was only beaten a couple of lengths. Obviously drawn the red jacket tonight. I'm expecting a big race from him, hopefully. My next best, sticking at Shelbourne, is in the 9:38, trap 6, Road Exile. Now, I've made him my next best because I was expecting him to be a lot shorter than what he is. He's currently around about 6-4 in places. I mean, it is a very hot little AO that he's in, but he is just a different class, in my opinion, to the rest of the field. And I think he's got a great draw out in 6, he's got 5 dog seeded rails on his inside, could really keep out of all the trouble. My lay's going to be early in the first up Monmore in the 6:17, trap 4, Antigua Big Sid. Now, he did edge out slightly from trap 1 in his trial, but I thought the jump out to trap 4 might be a little bit too much for him, and then he's going to have a bit of trouble getting in, and I quite like the look of trap 5 in that race. And I'm with trap 1 for the challenge. So that's all mine, Dave, but what we want to know is, what are yours? Show us your best bet.
Well, we're going to disagree in the first at Monmore because I'm really strong on Antigua Big Sid, but we shall see. But I'm going for a sporting nap. Derby's the night in the 7:44 class act. Queen Mother winner at Sheffield. The market, as we know, is going to be dominated by Droopy's Clue and From Post to Pillar. I believe it when I see it and they both step up in trip. It could get messy. I want to be with a dog that stays. He's chasey. We know he's a quirky sort, but he's double figure prices. And if it gets messy, he's the dog I want to be with there. Distant Emma, probably the best bet on the card. Kunov Crow in 3. Slow to go, edge inside. Short run to the turn. If she can find a start, she comes into it in good form. I thought she was very good last time. Take on Droopy's Google in the 7:07 at Monmore. Yet to prove stamina there, and I really fancy Havana Lover as well. She's a class act. Could be a bit of a squeeze on the inside there, and she could swoop round the outer. Napa next best in the black jacket, so that will do for me.
Right, looking forward to tonight's action. We do have, obviously, the third round of the Irish Derby is mentioned, and it's been very much dominated by the superstar Cool Lavani Hoffa. So we're going to take a quick look back at him last week in action.
Racing, good start by trap 2 up the inside. Stories Pee-wee, but there goes Hoffa, leads into the turn. From in second 3, Bok goes Crystal. Back in third is 1 Freeway Charlie, but Coulivanny Hoffa is on by 2.5 lengths to 3. Bok goes Crystal, a long gap back to 1 Freeway Charlie, but 6 Coulivanny Hoffa putting a real pace to the race. 17:01, fastest of the Derby thus far, clear into the home straight, and Coulivanny Hoffa will still be Derby favourite in the morning. A brilliant display from him. In second spot is 1 Freeway Charlie, bit of bumping in behind Romeo Hotshot and Bocco's Crystal, the kennel companions. But
and what an absolute phenomenon he is to watch, and very excited to see him in action tonight. Obviously drawn in trap 6 again, Dave. Could you oppose him?
Well, no. I mean, I don't think he's beaten too much in the Derby as of yet, but he's been so impressive. He's quite lightly raced, I'd say, only 18 starts. On and off the track, he's won by 8, he's won by 9, he's won at 2-11, he's won at 2-9. He's going to be really short again tonight. Callaway Masters be a fairly tight railer, edging in from 5, as will Bocco's Crystal. So the door is wide open. I expect him to do the business there. And yeah, I don't think we're really going to, all being well and the form standing up, learn too much more, other than he's probably just going to smash out and make all.
Yeah, it'll just be just seeing how far he wins by, I think, tonight. But it's obviously the third round. We saw a lot of big names go out last week, so see what happens tonight. Now, obviously, we have got action from Monmore too, and Churchfield Sid is running. And we're going to be having a look at him, going back a while now. But is he a dog that was on your radar tonight, Dave?
Well, it's a hell of a race. You've got Churchfield Sid, who is the anti-post favourite, taking on Lynx Maverick, who's a 2-time Cat 1 winner, having picked up the Northern Puppy Derby, won the Pall Mall in fine style. You can see the outright odds there. Churchfield Sid heading the bet in. Sensational trials. I mean, 16.25, 2-bend spinner at Hove on his comeback was incredible, and he's followed up with 28.20, 28.18 in trials. And then a 28.08 in his comeback run. He has been off the card, trials for show, races for dough and all that. And it's a big ask for a dog to follow up with a big run and to do it again. I mean, this was him last time out, and this was his first start since March. And this was a fair race as well, but he's a unique dog in that he's got sensational pace, but he's also got the ability to explode from the boxes, which is what he did on this occasion. We all know what was sort of transpiring in March. Semi-final, I think it was, the Puppy Derby. He was a street clear, going to be favourite in the final, and it all went wrong and he broke down. It's great to see him back. There's that old theory of the bounce factor. Will that affect him? He's got a hell of a lot to clear. You've got the Gym Crack champion, Stormy News, in trap 4. Lynx Maverick, Tom Hilbrun's other runner, Infield Trojan, can run as well. 3 is just a professional and a win machine. I was at Oxford on this occasion, again, a top quality field, and he just did what he always does, seemingly. Just broke well, paced up and away and gone. And he could be coming into this as a 3-time Cat 1 winner. He went ever so close to winning that Monmore Puppy Derby that Churchville Sid was in, just nailed late on by Brady's Bullet. He's going to be my selection, but it's a hell of a race. It really is. And, you know, it is billed as a match between 3 and 6, but there's some talented other dogs in there as well. And just one of an incredible race on an incredible card tonight at Monmore.
One of those, I think there's so much early pace in that race. Obviously, you are drawn to traps 3 and 6 in that heat, but I think whatever hits the bend in front could be a little trouble going round, could go a few different ways. But like I said, plenty to be looking forward to, and we do have the first heat of the Gold Cup not too far away, the 6:17. We've got Ballybow Mags, the 7-4 favourite currently. Actually, I'm glad to see her favourite. With him taking on Antigua Big Sid, it's going to be my leg, so be keeping an eye on him. But Ballybow Mags, to me, I mean, Puppy Cup winner at Sunderland, she's lightly raced, she's got plenty of top grade success around here and also around Newcastle as well, quite a versatile bitch. She's only had the one trial last month and then recorded that very promising trial around here last week, and that was for her first look as well. I mean, she's going to be looking to improve as well on that 28.37, but she's got an ideal draw for me, and quite happily take her at 15-8. Are you with me, Dave? Are you against?
No, as I said, I'm very much with Antigua Big Sid. I'm a little bit surprised that Antigua Big Sid's not favourite. You're drawn towards Ballybuff Mags because the draw's sensational. Antigua Big Sid will move inside. Looking back on when he's run out of any sort of middle draw 3, and he's dived inside, but Puma Jake, who's the dog who comes in as a reserve, Righty was out, unfortunately withdrawn yesterday. Pretty slow to go here, and there is really not a lot of speed on the inside. Whiting's new era probably doesn't really want to be on the inside for me, and I thought might lift off a little bit. I thought it was a foot race to the turn here, 4 and 5. I thought 4 would clear the inside and make the bend and go on to score, but they're the 2 runners. I get why you're taking on Tigger Big Sid. I'm sure you'd rather Righty be in track 3 though, because he's a big player.
Definitely would have done. I just thought get the lay out of the way nice and early. I was trying to find something a little bit shorter, was hoping would actually, I'd seen him a little bit shorter than the 2-1 early doors, but
you can make cases for multiple dogs in every single race tonight, so
it's such a classy car.
It's got the feel of one of them nights where the jollies might come a cropper just because the races are so deep. But be interesting to see. You know, much has been made of seedings, etc. I'm not sure I buy too much into that, given the nature of the 6:30 at Monmore. You know, there's sort of trap and the bends on them. There's not really time for dogs to think about taking racing lines into the bend. So I'd be interested to see how it goes. And the theme tonight in the Summer Stayers Classic has to be kind of the dog stepping up in trip. You know, we've got 1 or 2 established classy stayers. Distant Emma won the 3 steps. Derby's Delight, who I think's an each way play in the outright market. But then you've got Juvenile Classic champion Droopy's Clue, who certainly looks the part. His trial suggests he's a going to be a champion over 6 bends from post to pillar. You know, people have been crying out for this dog to be stepped up in trip as well. It makes for fascinating viewing tonight.
Certainly does. Now we're going to take a look back and give you a bit of a clue at Antigua Big Sid, running here for you guys at home to feast your eyes upon on the 22nd of April, and going from trap 3 here, Dave.
Yeah, just watch the racing line into the turn. Like, just edging across, and the task is made a little bit easier by the fact that Righty's come out and Pumba Jake is in. I think can make the bend, but. You know, I'm not surprised to see the money coming for Ballybuff Mags, who won that Arc Puppy Cup up at Sunderland. Nice long run to the turn, smart early speed, and held off Glenvale Bill in that final. You know, early pace is the game with her, and she will certainly enjoy a clean run to the turn. Don't like trap 5 at Monmore though. It's always been a box that I think some dogs really struggle to break from. She trolled out of 4. Did it well, 28.37. Decent enough trial at Newcastle. You'd expect her to go probably a little bit quicker than 28.91. But yeah, switching to 5, you know, as much as the draw is decent, they've still got to do it right at the boxes.
Fair enough. I have got obviously Antigua Big Sid as the main danger. She's got to try and clear him. I'm just sort of, with him having a little bit of a stop-start career, obviously with him picking up an injury and being off colour for a while, just kind of hoping that's going to play to Ballybow Mags's hands, really, and she can take full advantage of that. She's very much in form. Obviously, Mountain Sunny, see the big price, is one that hasn't been here before. Arrow Aaron on a huge drift, but you wouldn't be too surprised if you saw the local dogs doing well in this sort of competition. Monmore, I always think, even though it's got the long straights, the bends can catch them out. And obviously with Whiting's New Era, it's her first time here this year. This is where I thought Arrow Aaron could take full advantage of knowing how to run that first bend if he clears her.
Well, I think one's a bit of a runner here. As much as I don't like Whiting's New Era in red, I do think she'll move off. You know, should she find a start like she sometimes can? I mean, she's put a 34.91 on the board over the 5.75 or off. You know, if she led, they're not going to be getting anywhere near her. I think she'll qualify, but I don't like her on the inside. Lot's going to rest on the start here, but I think 4 can get across.
So I'll hand you over and soon see what happens.
Race 1, the 6.17, the Ladbrokes Gold Cup 2023 Heat 1, reserve in trap 3, Pumba Jake. Here's at the traps. They're off. And 1 broke well, 5 shows early pace, then comes 4, 3, 6, 2 outpaced. Round the first bend, 5 on the outside of 1. And at the second bend, it's Ballybuff Mads just in front of Whiting's New Era. They are chased by Mountain Sunny on the outside of Antigua Big Sid. Round the second half bend, it's Ballybuff Mags, locked together with Whiting's New Era is on the fence. Then comes 4, 6, 3 and 2. Whiting's New Era has gone 2 lengths clear, or make it a length and a half as they go to the line. 1 gets there by 3 parts. 5 is third, and 5 is second, and 3 are fast finishing third.
And it is Whiting's New Era that has absolutely stormed home, took full advantage, absolutely pinged the boxes, which she said, Dave, she can do every now and again.
She don't want to be on the inside.
Definitely not.
I stood on the first bend at Romford one night when she was over the 5.75 and she run out of red, and she just steered off straight away. And that's why it looked a tough ask for Arrow Aaron to have some sort of run here. But every now and again she'll flash out. And at this point, you know, we knew that 4 and 5 needed to be off the front. And yeah, she's classy, you know. She's well bred. Whiting's Gift, March 20, Droopy Sydney. And she'd probably have put a fair time on the board then as well, because she's a strong running sort who's got on the bunny. Yeah, not sure about her on the inside, but when she does it right like that, she's a real handful there. Very impressive, and on she goes. Gets a middle draw in the semi-finals next week. Could be a handful again.
Yeah, certainly could. Ballybow Mags going through in second, and Pumba Jake, the reserve, in third. Now we're going to take some time to digest that, and we're off for a quick break.
I can look at 12 horses and the form all at once. Come on. The app is my paddock.
Once the race starts, we don't bother with cheers in our house.
When the race is on, I try to remain calm. If it's possible to love a four-legged beast and a wee tiny man sitting on top of it, then I love you!
Boost your racing odds at ladbrokes.com.
Betfred presents Check out our exclusive offers every day. Play in-store and online with Betfred.
The final stone of these championships.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary.
That's not bad at all.
We believe every sport should be epic.
Berlin.
So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Catch the best thoroughbred racing from South Africa alongside 15 live greyhound races at 11 o'clock every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday morning, live here on Sporty Stuff TV.
Welcome back to RPGTV, where we've had the first heat of the Gold Cup over at Monmore, which saw Whiting's New Era go through alongside Ballybell Mags and also Pomber Jake the Reserve. Now, I believe you got a quick email, Dave?
Oh yeah, got one here from Glenn Montague. Can someone explain to me how Havana Bayla is allowed to run from trap 1 as a railer? It's never run from 1 in a race. Every comment contains middle, some races middle to wide. Racing managers need to act. It's becoming farcical, some of this tactical seeding.
We can actually have a look at Havana Bailout's trial here, and to be honest, I do agree with the emailer. I do think Havana Bailout, I've obviously...
On the rail there.
Been reading I think she is coursing the head, but it's just the way that she goes so wide on the straights. I mean, it's very different though when you put 5 other dogs in a race.
It's on the rail again there. Not for me. I mean, if you're going to start seeding dogs on what they're doing out the second bend, then we're in a world of trouble. Every dog will be seeded on the card at Yarmouth. The thing is, it's such a unique trip, much like the 660 at Sheffield, that they're just on the bend straight away.
Very short to the bend.
You just will not find many dogs that can attack a bend from tight on the rail anyway. I remember when the Prestige used to be at Hall Green, and you rarely see a dog tight to the rail second bend there, and I think, everything will be all right in that race. I think she'll probably miss the break anyway because, she's probably not used to being drawn on the inside, but it'll be interesting to see how she fares. She's not tight to the fence there, but show me many that are tight to the rails all the way around. She's ran in the bends. It's a short run to the turn, and if you go back to what she was doing at Hove, she raced out of 4 and 5 and dived inside. So you could argue, well, her being out there is a welfare issue because she's diving inside. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, So
you're never going to.
It's a talking point, isn't it? Race 5, she runs from the inside from post to pillar. Was entered as a raider in a trial stake as well. And again, same again. I don't think the run to the turn is long enough for these dogs to really veer off, and I think they're just going to trap and be on the bend straight away. And this was him out of 2. I mean, it would have been great to see the head on, but what's he had? 5 strides, and then you're asking the dog to turn left. So there's not even time to veer off. Ironically, I thought he was probably a little bit closer to the fence in his racing. off the second bend, but third and fourth bend, she was tighter than he was to the inside. So it's all about opinions, isn't it? But it's not a long run to the turn. I completely understand what people are saying about, this is, a little bit farcical, etc., etc. I don't think it'd be much of an issue just because of the nature of the 6:30. But again, it's talking points and opinions. I think Havana Bailout will miss it, and I've backed low pressure. People will think I'm mad because she's going to move off, but I think she'll miss it and all the talk be redundant anyway.
Fair enough. I always think maybe not so much with Monmore, with it being obviously such a short run to the bend, but some of these tracks obviously we had the head-ons in the Derby.
Yep.
It'd be great to just have them sort of on the sort of sprint 6-bend boxes. Actually, on the trap, so the racing office can actually see where they're going.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you saw Rab there on the traps. I don't know whether anyone in the racing office sort of watched them on the run to the turn. You'd like to think they would have done, given all the chat, but yeah, we'll see. People will have differing views. I think I'll probably be in the minority thinking that race is going to pan out okay. But as I say, as soon as the dogs trap, I mean, you'll see it. We've got 6 heats of the Summer Stayers Classic. If a good dog smashes out, they're going to be halfway home because you're turning, lap to go, and a good dog on the bunny will be away and gone. You see it so often, as I keep saying, the 660 at Sheffield, similar as well. You've got to be trappy, get out on the bunny, and off you go.
Certainly have. Right, well, actually, talking of the Summer Stayers, let's have a quick look at the outright betting, which obviously does see from post to pillar, heading it at 5-1. Droopy's Clue not too far behind, though, at 6s. Distant Emma, Dave's one of his good bets tonight at 8. Havana Bailout also at 8. Havana Lover and Lively Lauren at 14 and 16. But the rest, is there anything that have you had any anti-post?
Yeah, I've backed Derby's Delight at 66-1. I did want to back Distant Emma, but there's not really a lot of juice in it. I want to take on the front two. Listen, they could both be champions over 6 bends, but I believe it when I see it. The dog that arguably is probably overpriced, but she's been off the track for so long, is a St Ledger winner. Havana Lover. She won the Hunt Cup at Oxford. The short run to the turn I don't think is going to suit her, but I fancy she can win tonight because there'll be a squeeze on the inside. But if she's right, we know she's a monster, and could argue, should she be twice the price of both the Droopy's Clue dog and the From Post to Pillar when she's won a St Ledger and they've never even run over 6 bends, but she's been off the card. It's fascinating.
Yeah, she's going to be exciting to see. She's one of those that if she gets it right and she's on the bunny, nothing can pull her back in. I really like Droopy's Clue. I've had a little, obviously, second favourite in the betting, but I've had a little anti-post bet on him. I thought he was very impressive in his 6-bend trial now. Just hoping that, because he's still young, he's still maturing, he's strengthening up, he can keep coming forward. I always like the look of the younger ones, especially like you said, Dave, that where you've got some of these dogs that are sort of just stepping up to 6 bends. They could be anything, really.
Yeah, that's what I think. There could be something lurking in there, without a doubt. It's such a brilliant competition, but I like the kind of blend that we've got. I mean, that Heat 3 at 7:44, you've got Minnie Bullet, who, she did win the Puppy Oaks over 4 bends at Toaster, but she's really established now over 6 bends. You've got Long Acres Bullet, who's established and classy, Derby's Delight, and then you chuck in like the Droopy's Clue and From Post to Pillar, who have never raced over 6 bends. It just makes for fascinating viewing. We might unearth a champion, or it might be a case of, I'm not sure this dog stays as it happens, so they might, go back to the drawing board.
Definitely a few of them that we'll
very interesting viewing tonight.
Certainly is. We've got the second heat now of the Ladbrokes Gold Cup 2023. Obviously, first 3 going through. Obviously, your eyes are drawn to Glideaway Hugo and Brinkley's Magic, 13-8 in Trap 3. I'm going to swerve both of them, Dave. I'm going to be with March on Larry, Angela Harrison. I mean, he has had a month away from the track with an injury, but then he won it. He's returning A1. The trials before that I was quite impressed with as well, around Newcastle. I mean, 28.64 isn't really hanging about there.
Yep.
He certainly seems to be firing back on all cylinders, and he would frequently clock sectionals around the 40-40 marker when he was here before. Now, a repeat at that would see him in a strong position early doors, and I thought just a nice bit of value at 11-2. Where are you drawn?
Yeah, big runner. They obviously won the event last year, didn't they, with Move Over Char. So, yeah, Angela and Jimmy, wish Jimmy well as well with his ongoing health issues. So, hope you well, Jimmy, if you're watching, and fingers crossed they get a big run out of March on Larry. Good draw here. Aero Roland is a genuine wide. I had the two Hilborn runners marked off. They're way too far apart. Brinkley's Magic, we saw light up the Derby in the early stages, you know, beating Clona Duke 7.5, putting 28.79 there. So very, very interesting runner. We know he's, you know, a little bit enigmatic, shall we say, but when he gets loose, when he gets daylight, he's a monster. But I'm going to be with Links Dasher. I was at Oxford, very impressive. He cramped, still won nicely. More to come from him.
It certainly is. Well, let's have a look at Brinkley's Magic.
This is the run I just mentioned.
Yeah, brilliant run here. 28.79 and absolutely dominated from the front.
Yeah, I mean, the dog for me is all middle pace. He does have a fast start in him, but 2 to 3, I think he probably moves as well as anything in training both sides of the Irish Sea. So should he get daylight, he's going to be a real handful here. He looks plenty short enough for me though at 6 to 4. You know, if these 6 dogs were all going to have a trial, he'd be very, very short to post the fastest time, but it's not a trial. As I say, I'm going to be with Links Dasher. On the supporting card at Pall Mall, I saw him in action. He went to the bend really well, moved off a bit from the inside, which he might just do again here. But he showed ferocious pace into the first bend and down the back, 26.92. He did cramp up coming home though. So, you know, to do 26.92 and shorten up coming home is a fair run. So he looks overpriced at 11-2. I'm going to go with him off the front. I think could be a case of catch me if you can.
Fair enough. Now, I just have to mention, actually, March on Larry, we've been told by Monmore, and also Angela Harrison has emailed in herself, had a change of kennels. He's now with Harry Burton, was sold to Harry Burton's kennels. So good luck to Harry Burton. And obviously, just echoing everything Dave said about Jimmy there, Angela. Glad that you're both tuning in, though.
Sam's not happy. Sam's been on. Dave, I'll be blunt. If you're going to sit there and put up a case for Havana Bailout being seeded Rouse OK, you need a new job. It's scandalous. It's farcical. It's a disgrace. And everything else you can think of. Have a good evening, Anna. That's from Sam. I did kind of say that I thought she'll miss the break, so it'll be a little bit redundant. But, you know, if this was a race over a 6-bend trip with a longer run to the turn, I'd be more concerned than what I am. But everyone's entitled to their view. I knew I was probably going to be in the minority, but there we are.
It stirs up conversation, and so it's always good to hear what everybody's thoughts are on it. James Moore's tweeted in, an evening sitting in the kitchen watching RP Greyhounds on the telly, Summer Cup, Go on the Droopies, Gold Cup, and the last 48 at the Irish Derby. Setting off soon. And also Jake Whalen, I missed your nap earlier, but you were with Aero Aaron. No luck at all in that first at Monmore, so let us know what your next best is. But they're poised behind the boxes for the second heat of the Ladbrokes Gold Cup. Some absolutely stunning greyhounds on show tonight, not just here but over the waters in Shelbourne, that will be kicking off at about 7:20. Plenty to be looking forward to tonight, but the last are loading in.
A little bit of money for 6. I did have a little look at 6. I'm a bit worried about the draw of with Aero Roland maybe being a little bit wide round the turn, but could go well. Early paces stepping up in trip.
Good luck with your bets. Let's hand you over to Mark.
Hares behind the traps. They're off. A level break. 4 shows early pace. Leads narrowly from 3 and 5. Then comes 1, 2 and 6. Round the first bend, and 4 March on Larry at the head of affairs onto the far side. March on Larry by 2 lengths to Aero Roland. Then comes Links Dasher on the inside of Droopy's roster, 3 and 2 of the back markers. Round the second last bend, and March on Larry out in front by just over a length to Aero Roland, who's trying to challenge. Then comes Droopy's roster, but up towards the line. 4 gets there. by a neck from 6 with 5 third. 4, 5 and 6.
And it is March on Larry for Harry Burton. That is pretty much led from start to finish. Done it nicely. Definitely firing on all cylinders. Has returned from that little bit of time off with an injury. I mean, absolutely had the run of the race to the first bend though, Dave. We knew Brinkley's Magic was probably going to edge in slightly. Aero Roland, true wide runner, and that's just opened it up lovely for the Black Jacket.
Yeah, he don't like the dogs round him, does he, at the bend? Brinkley's Magic dog, he stabbed the brakes on. Again, the dog that's caught my eye there without a doubt is Droopy's Rooster, Carl Gardner's runner. Now, showed pace in the trial, 28.58. I was worried by the draw being held out by Aero Roland and wasn't helped from a flat-footed start, but has done some running. Four's done it really, really nicely. Good strike rate, 15 from 38 coming into this. Got off the front and made all. Looks like a 4.65 there for me. Hell of a run from the runner-up after such a flat-footed start, but well done to the winner and new connections.
Yeah, and like I said, Droopy's roster, one to maybe keep an eye on. September 21 youngster, very lightly raced. Now we're off for a quick break, and after that we'll be catching back up with Rob over at Shelbourne.
The William Hill 5. Top tips for positive play. Don't chase losses.
What are you doing?
Know your limits. Get support if you need it. Take a break. Keep it fun. Find our safer gambling tools online or in shop.
And here's today's favourite, number 4, First to Feel Rain. And you can see why, Gina.
He hasn't got the most attractive head, but he has an impressive turn of foot for his size.
He must be 20 hands at least. He has moved stables a lot.
Just loves the big occasion.
Feature at stud, Gina?
Not sure, Matt. Unlikely to be wanted for breeding. Worthy favourite, Matt?
Definitely the favourite, Gina.
Don't feel like a punter, feel like a favourite with great offers on the Paddy Power app.
Want betting on the horses that leads from the front? You're on. With live streaming of racing 24/7 from around the globe. And daily offers, including extra places, 3 uni boosts a day, and our best odds guaranteed. You're on. Plus today, get money back as cash if your horse finishes 2nd or 3rd on selected races. Unibet, you're on.
Right, well, a big night in anticipation here at Shelbourne Park, because for many in Fortune, we say it every year, the Derby really starts tonight.
Yeah, we say it every year, and we try not to use the same analogy the whole time, so we won't. We're mentioning golf and moving day and all that. But yeah, 47 in action tonight. Sadly, Drewby's got us not there, but yeah, we'll learn plenty this evening. Although I think it's fair to say that the market is taking its shape now, and there will be 1 or 2 shocks which could affect the market. But I think there's no doubt what will be favoured in the morning, bar Barry makes an absolute hash of things or something goes wrong.
Okay, let's quickly go through heat by heat. Let's start with the opening heat. There's 7 unbeaten greyhounds remaining, and Sober Glory's one of them.
Yeah, he's running very powerfully. He's very well housed in the fence. But this is a tough test. It'd be very interesting to see how himself and Bobsleigh Dream get on from halfway. They're both immensely powerful. Bobsleigh Dream is not one that's going to win by 5 lengths, so she hasn't taken a breath out of herself just yet. Like, she got to the front last week and that was enough. If she was a racehorse, you'd say she's idled. I could say Sober Glory, but at the same time I could say Bobsleigh Dream. Yeah. If I was sort of just coming in and I'd been sort of parachuted in, I had to pick something maybe at a bigger price. I think Tommy Shewick will run well on the outside. I think he'll no doubt lead up 3, 4 and 5. I think he's probably the likely pace setter. He's running very, very well. And if the top 2 happen to get in each other's way, you never know. But it's very tricky to pick between them. I think Sober Glory would be favoured, but if I had to put my finger on one, I think I'd go for Bobsleigh Dream. Okay, the second heat, we've 2 unbeaten greyhounds, but neither of those are the Laddie Da or Ben Steady. Yeah, I don't particularly fancy Ben Teddy. Last week was a gimme. He was left in front in a race where there was no early. This is a different scenario. He's going to be 4th, 5th into the opening corner, you'd imagine. I think the laddie has the dog to beat, especially if he finds his trapping boots. He's capable of doing the 29-20 at this time of the year. If the ground allows it. Clonruis Sydney's going to cut in, maybe upset Ben's Teddy. It's then a case of whether another holiday can clear undisputed. I think he's better housed actually out in 4 or 5 than he was in 1 last week. Despite the fact he's an inside seed, 5 is not an issue for him. So he'll be prominent. I just think with the inside draw that the laddie go around in front of him, I think another holiday's probably a main danger, undisputed running so well. But will be vulnerable if she's not first or second into the back straight, because the likes of Ben's Teddy, Clonruis Sydney be finishing fast.
Okay, Heat 3, we've got the kennel companions, Mr. Shelma and Trinity Junior, drawn side by side.
I've tipped up Trinity Junior, and I'm sort of swaying. If Mr. Chelm hits it, he's going to do a massive run some night. 4 was his box last year. I can't see any reason why 4 wouldn't be his box this year. If he was in 4 in the English Derby final, he may well have won last year. Do you know what I mean? He was already on the inside, drifted off. If he was in 4, might have just, helped him to stay in a bit more. It seems sort of contradictory, but I think if he trapped on terms, I think he'd have the early speed to go with them. At price is Mr. Chelm, but I can see why Trinity Junior is favoured, and that's why I tipped him.
Heat 4, 2 words, Kulavani Hoffa.
Yeah, he wins. Yeah, he should do. Nice dog. Yeah, he's a bright future. This is a gimme. Another gimme. He's 3 gimmies now at this stage. Like Bocco's Crystal's very talented, but Callaway Masters going straight left in on top of her. She'll need to ping out of boxes. She's capable of doing so, but even then, she's beaten 10.5 lengths last week. I can't see her reversing that. With the prospect of Kulavani Hoffa coming forward, he's done a 351 and 352. He has 330s in his bag last year. Now, whether the trip is allowing that happen this year, I think it's about 7 or 8 spots behind, but he certainly can do a 345, and if he does, he'll be 6 clear second bend, and he'll win as he wants, and he'll be 2-1, 9-4 in the morning for Derby Glory.
Yeah, nothing new there. Move on to our 5th heat. We've got the Dundalk International winner, Rahamofo. She did remarkable to get through last week.
She did. At 6-4, I wouldn't be a player, and she's not even 6-4. I put 6-4 on the card. I think she's 5-4, even shorter in places. You're just again hoping that she gets that run around the opening corner. She's not blessed with massive early speed, but she traps well enough to get herself in trouble. Last week, just with dogs around her, she just took a stride or 2 for herself, caused her to lose an awful lot of ground. She can't afford to do it tonight. Glengar Martha's the interesting one. If she does what she did last week, well, so be it. She'd probably win, but that's not guaranteed. I'd say Pat had her tuned up last week to maybe upset those on her inside, with Balnabula head out in 6 and completely misfired. I think Droopy's Bro is the value option. He's well housed in the fence. I think he'll run very well, but if Rahamofo turns close, forget about it. She'll pick them all up, but Droopy's Bro from the draw represents value.
Heat 6, 2 more unbeaten greyhounds, Scaglietti in the red and Jatara out wide.
Yeah, I think Scaglietti is the one to beat. He is absolutely flying at present. We still have yet to see him in the sort of races where he's come undone in the past. He's always been a good trapper, but the last 50 yards to the corner he struggles a little bit. Now he's in 1 tonight, so that shouldn't be an issue. Ballymacmarino probably has as much, if not more, early speed in him, so if Ballymacmarino goes in front, I don't think he'll pick him up. But Scaglietti's the price he is because he's in the inside of Marino. If he traps in terms, or traps like he has done, it'll be hard enough to contain at the corner. If Ballymacmarino went a silly price like a 5-2, 3-1, I might have a nibble.
Yeah. Penultimate heat of the night. There hasn't been much talk about Graham Holland. That might change after Clona Duke.
Yeah, I've tipped against him. I've gone for the other Kobe. He's due a start. He had a bit of I was just talking, actually, literally, last person I spoke to before I came here was Jennifer O'Donnell. She said he had a bit of a kidney problem the first round, got over it, didn't do an awful lot with him last week. Prior to last week, she's had more done this week. She feels he's sharper, and if he pings, I think he'll make them all go. I just, this is a very talented greyhound. He's as fast as most dogs in training to the third bend, and Clona Duke, his Achilles heel is that first 2 strides, and if he does miss it, you know where the other Kobe's going, and it ain't right. Of the rest of them, Metal go up fast. Ryhope Beach is an incredibly fast greyhound, a little bit frustrating. I think there's still issues with his head in terms of if there's company there. I think he's wary. I think there's confidence issues, but just at prices, I think I'll go for the other Kobe.
And the last of the heats, we got the former English Derby champion Magico in 1, and Graham's also got Clonbrine Treaty in 6.
The absence of Drewby's Got It is a massive, massive, massive turn in favour of Clonbrine Treaty, because he was the dog that was going to be able to challenge him into the opening corner. As it is, if he traps a length behind Drewby's Nice One, who probably has the next best early speed in the race, I think he'll go around a length and a half in front. He is devastating pace when he does come away, when he does hit the ground. Sadly, it's often a length or 2 behind the rest of them. He's due a start. I think Clonbrine Treaty wins. Romeo Magico was interesting to me when he was 7 or 8 to 1 in a 6-dog race. He's now 4 to 1 in place, and I hear people talking about maybe his value. And if, like, he could be 3 to 1. I wouldn't be interested in that. He's not as sharp as he was in the first few strides. It's Clonbrine Treaty for me. I think Juby's Nice One's the only conceivable danger.
Okay, we've covered the 8 heats. What are your best bets?
I think that Coolivany Hoffa dog might win. He's a good one. I think Deladdy Da is a great draw, and at prices I'd be interested in Druppy's Bro and the other Kobe.
Okay, and no doubt the anti-post market's going to be fairly popular before racing and up to the opening heat. Is there anything at a little bit of value right now?
Bobsleigh Dreams around 16 to 1. You know, if you were just interested in having a little nibble each way, maybe get your money back, she reached the final, or, well, if she gets to the final, she'll be in the first 4. That's my reckoning. You know, you're going to need a bomb to keep her out of the frame, because honestly, she'd catch pigeons.
Always great to hear Ian Fortune's thoughts, and we'll be hearing of him not too long now as he'll be commentating over at Shelbourne with the first heat of the third round of the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby being at 7:20. Now, we've got the third heat of the Ladbrokes Gold Cup to look forward to. Now, we did show you some VTs earlier on, but we're going to show you them again. First one is Lynx Maverick. Obviously, that stunning Pall Mall final running from Trap 3 on the 29th of July. And what a performance this was, Dave.
Yeah, he's a professional, isn't he? He's won 16 from 19. He's already picked up 2 Cat 1s and was ever so close to being a third as well. Last time he was at Monmore, again being picked up close home in that Monmore Puppy Derby final by Brady's Bullet. But yeah, straightforward. He did not see a rival at Oxford. He's professional, he's got the early pace, he's smart from the boxes as well, and I'm a bit surprised he's not Fav, to be honest with you, but the dog in stripes is very, very exciting.
Certainly is. Churchfield Sid, obviously the other strong contender, and we can look back to just last week on the 5th of August here, running from Trap 5, but what a performance against Infield Trojan behind him as well. Very quick away. Churchfield Sid out the boxes, and another one that made this look very easy.
Yeah, he's a star, isn't he? You know, what might have been, you know, and it's great to see him back on the track. He was a street clear in the semi-finals of that Puppy Derby, and he broke down. But for him to be back running in the way in which he was here and the way he's moved in his trials is a real testament to Richard Rees and his team. There will be people that buy into the bounce theory, of course, you know, to put in a massive run like that, 28.08, first run since March, then to pick the dog up and ask him to go again a week later. How will he perform? Well, he's got a hell of a draw here, because Romeo Sportstyle will head inside and just simply will not live with him to the turn anyway. So I suppose he doesn't need to be flashy from the boxes, he can still lead around. But if Lynx Maverick gets first run on him, even if Stormy News gets first run on him, you know, the Jim Crack winner, it's a hell of a race. And even Tom's other runner, Infield Trojan, can run. He's got some really good form over course and distance as well. I think he might have won a first round heat or even the semi-final of the Monmore Puppy Derby as well last year. So he knows his way around Monmore. He's 10 wins from 28. He's not to be overlooked, but the big two are very, very classy. It's great to see Churchfield Sid back. Fingers crossed all is well. We're set for another ding-dong.
Absolutely. So which one are you going with?
I'm going with Lynx Maverick.
Lynx Maverick.
Straight down the middle.
Fair enough. I'm afraid I'm with the other short one. I'm with Churchfield Sid. Saying what Dave said, I just thought the draw is going to be absolutely perfect for him. Another lightly raced youngster, but let's hand you over to Keith Hewitt.
Race 3, the 6:48 is the Ladbrokes Gold Cup 2023 Heat 3. Hares at the traps. They're off, and 3 Lynx Maverick got a flyer, and it's 3 from 6. Then comes 2, 4, 5 and 1 round the first bend, and Lynx Maverick being chased hard by Churchfield Sid. It's the 2 at the head of the market. They're clear from Infield Trojan. Then comes 4, 5 and 1 round the second last bend, and Lynx Maverick with a 2.5 length lead from Churchfield Sid. Back in third is Infield Trojan. Off the final bend, Lynx Maverick is going to go trap to line. 3 the winner, 6 second, 2 third, 3 6 and 2.
Is Lynx Maverick that has managed to land the spoils, and Not surprising after a start like that. Absolutely flew the lids, and to be honest, you knew it was going to be a massive ask to try and rein him in. He's such a strong runner, isn't he, Dave?
Yeah, he's classy, isn't he? And Churchfield is going to be winning his races off the front. And you take Lynx Maverick out the race, and you'd be, eulogising and heaping praise on Churchfield Sid, because he's a mile clear of the rest himself. He's just an absolute monster in front of him. As I say, 16 wins from just 19 starts coming into this, most of that being in competition racing. And he's on his way again in another big event. And, he's going to be a real handful. He just so professional from the boxes. He just explodes and he's gone. He doesn't stop. He moves well down the back. He comes home strong enough too. And what a good move it was from Connections to swerve the Greyhound Derby. And, he's still got plenty more to offer there. Very impressive.
And although Seeded Rails thought very happy with that Trap 3 draw, so it'll be interesting to see what he gets next week. So we've got a couple of times to bring you. The first heat, which was won by Whiting's New Era, was won in 28.70. And then the second heat by March on Larry was 28.69. So we just got a bit of a hint that the track is running just slightly on the slow side. So I'd like you to have a guess at what you think that third heat was running, but we'll find out after the break.
Betfred presents Check out our exclusive offers every day. Play in-store and online with Betfred.
This is the final straight. Your horse is challenging for the lead. Victory is so close you can taste it. This magnificent animal giving everything for his jockey. And in the last strides, your horse is beaten.
Fortunately, Gary Ashburn, the collectibles guru, and I'm super excited to be here on Sporty Stuff TV every Sunday night at 10 p.m. to share with you my 30 years knowledge and expertise in the world of amazing collectibles. We've got a brand new show for you every week, crammed full of unmissable memorabilia, featuring some of the biggest names in sport and showbiz. So don't miss it. Collectibles Guru every Sunday night at 10 p.m. exclusively here on Sporty Stuff TV.
Welcome back to RPGTV, where we have had the first three heats so far of the Gold Cup, and we've just seen Lynx Maverick absolutely storm home around Monmore in a time of 27.99. So laying down the marker there, Dave. I think, can you see that being beaten?
Well, tonight, it'll take a hell of a run. They might have to start from the sprint boxes, I think, over the in the Gold Cup, given that he's probably gone, 3/4 of a second quicker than the first two heat winners. That's a hell of a run.
So yeah, certainly found a good chunk of time from his recent trial as well. And I believe you've actually had an email from Tom himself, the trainer.
Yes, we have here. Tom's been on and he says, Lynx Maverick, stop doubting him. He's a superstar, that boy. Unreal to have a dog like him in the kennel. Words can't describe how classy he is.
Certainly is. Obviously, coming off that Pall Mall victory, looking in very much good form. So absolute credit to Tom and all the connections involved there. You got
a few more emails. This one's from Andrew Johnston. Have a great Saturday night off. And be able to sit and watch Monmore and the Irish Derby with friends and family. So shout outs to Woody Ritchie and his son, and myself, Andy Johnston. Great show, folks. Good stuff there. Hopefully you guys are betting a few winners. Martin Flynn, really looking forward to tonight's Derby heat on Ben's Teddy, 33-1 outright winner. Love the coverage. Looks like it's going to be a hard dog to keep out the frame. That one, Gary Taylor. This one is well done with Larry. Anna, I followed you in the opener. Am I missing something from Poster Pillar? Why is he so big tonight? Okay, he may not lead the 3 up, but it will lead the 4 and the 6 up. If he goes around second, I wouldn't want to be on anything else. We shall see. Regards, Gary. A hell of a race that one, isn't it? Of course. Donald says, great racing tonight. Nappies, Droopy's bro. Hope you have a good show. And Lee Pittman, can I say good luck to Peter Hondon and the team tonight at Monmore. Regards, Lee.
Lee's one of my old owners, so I'll be having a little mention about his dogs tonight, and I imagine he's watching from home because every time he goes to the track, his dogs never do any good. Now, obviously, last night we had the semi-finals of the British Bred Oaks over at Oxford, so I'm going to show you a little preview and obviously the trap draw for next week's final.
We're looking back at the Category 2 BGBF British Bred Oaks semi-finals from Oxford on Friday. In the first semi-final, Fabulous Azura for Pat Janssen sent off the short 30-100 favourite.
Yeah, it was a demolition job in the first round from Fabulous Azura. What a CV she's got. She's filled the trophy cabinet with plenty of silverware, Errol. This long run to the turn at Oxford suits her down to a T. A bump from the second favourite Sing-Along Sally, but in total isolation throughout Fabulous Azura. When she wins like this, all she does is post fast times, and 26.87 for Pat Janssen's class act. Sing-Along Stacey has done a lot of running to finish second, but nothing could lay a glove on Fabulous Azura.
Yeah, and a 385 sectional to boot. So let's move on to the second semi-final, where Trap 3 Moments of Magic went off the even money favourite here for Kevin Hutton.
Yeah, it didn't quite happen for Moments of Magic. It was the Perry Bar Raider, fly high artist, who showed the best early pace. A little bit of congestion on the inside and no rush. Got a lovely run out wide and has turned in pursuit of the outsider. No rush has booked her place in numerous finals. Brighton Bell finalist, Sussex Cup finalist, all of a sudden looms large going into the third bend, and from there on in proceeds to draw further and further clear. Carol Weatherall's bitch, 26.90. Powerful running.
26.90, but a much slower sectional, as you'd imagine, 4 dead. Right, there's the lineup for the final. Shockwave Amber in 1, Shockwave Wicker in 2, Fabulous Azura in 3, Sing-Along Stacey in 4, Fly High Artist in 5, No Rush in 6, Tony.
The lid's open, 3 flashes out, nips round the first bend in front, wins.
You can watch the BGBF British Bred Oaks final on Friday night here on Racing Post Greyhound TV from Oxford.
Can you get away from Fabulous Azura, Dave?
No, everything that he said. I mean, she will need to trap out because Sing-Along Stacey will head inside out of 4. She's quite a tight railer. Another final for No Rush. You wouldn't begrudge her getting the job done here. Whether she's got that ferocious early pace that Fabulous Azura has, but she makes up for it down the back, and she'd be strong over the trip as well. So I certainly think she's going to have a say in it, No Rush, whether that be filling the places or whatever. And I'd like to see Fly High Artist go well. I know Dave Titterton involved in that one. He's a massive supporter of British breeding as well. So yeah, looking forward to that one, but she's going to take some beating if she brings the trap in boots. It'll be a question of how far, Fabulous Azura.
Yeah, it certainly will. It was great to hear from Dave Firminger on the Derby final night when Fabulous Azura won, and to be honest, said that once she comes in season, they'll be breeding with her. And yeah, I think it's just a case of name your price on those pups. So we've obviously got Rob over at Shelbourne. He's been previewing all the first heats for tonight's Derby.
Right, we're coming up to the opening third round heat of the night at the Boylesports Irish Derby, and we're Carl Ramsbottom. Carl Ramsbottom, sober glory. So far, so good. 2 rounds done.
Yeah, 2 rounds over, Rob. Into third round, you know, he's going well. Touch wood, he stays qualifying is the whole secret, and stay in the drum. You know, he's running well. He's running well last twice up here, so hopefully he can qualify tonight and get into the quarter final.
Yeah, I suppose the key was getting him a couple of runs at Shelbourne before the Derby starts, and you know he seems to have been taken to the track.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he had his race here before the Derby and he's a couple of weeks off. So no, the race probably stood to him. So he's have to be running well his last 2 rounds here. you know, again, it's tightening up now. It's all about qualifying now at this stage. So, but he's well drawn tonight in one. He loves one. So again, we're hopeful. It's a good race now, very good race. Pat's bitching to a cracking bitch, and the Murty in 3, and of course the Tommy Shewick out in 6. So there's no room for error. But look, we'll take third and to qualify. That's all we want.
Yeah, you say you have your box 5 for 5 in trap 1. You know, you hopefully keep getting that if he progresses.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, he's not the best of trappers, and when he's in one, he can hold his position into the bend. You know, he stays in the rail, and he'll hold his position. So that's the advantage. But it's not that he dives in from any other box.
Yeah.
Just one. He's hard beat now. One now. I'm hoping not putting the mockers on him. But again, he's as you say, he's 5 and 5 out of 1. But his dog is in good form and a good week with him. So we're happy enough with him, and we just, again, we hope to be in the drum tonight for the draw for the quarter final.
Yeah. Do you think he was better last week maybe than the week before?
Yeah, I thought he ran a cracker last week. I think the two bitch of Mikey Donnelly's charged boxes and knocked himself and his little brother Right Hope Beach off. You know, he completely missed it now. I know he's not the best out, but he did completely miss it. I thought he ran a cracking race. You know, he showed nice boot into the bend. He showed a bit more early than he had been shown. We know he has a little bit more than he's shown up here, but no, definitely we're like him, and he's running strong. He's run the track well, and he's coming out of his races good. So, you know, touch wood, as I said, we get over tonight.
Yeah, and there's a lot of dogs obviously towards the top of the market, but your lad is just slower, slightly coming in under the radar. I know he's unbeaten, but you know, there's a couple of people talking about him saying this lad has got a right chance of going all the way.
Yeah, look, as you know, when you were down, Rob, we were down a piece, we told you, we thought good about this fella. When he came into we said we got over the first round, he will improve during the competition. So, you know, we aimed at it, and we kept him fresh for the start of the competition. So, you know, he's doing everything right, and he's coming home strong. As I said, you know, he's a rail seed. He's not overly dependent on the rails, but like he's better 0-1. But you know, we're happy with him, and we wouldn't swap him for anything else in it.
Yeah, are you enjoying it the last couple of weeks? Obviously, it gets tough from now on, and no doubt you'll be a little bit nervous, but are you enjoying it?
Yeah, great, Rob. You know what I mean? It's brilliant. You know, we've won both left the fire with him, and he's probably was our main one at the start. So thank God he's still in it. You know, the others were competing in the plate there last night. A couple of them qualified, but no, we're enjoying it. You know, family's up again tonight. Sean Malone, the owner's up here again. So you know, Sean's having a great crack over it, and you know, we're delighted with the dog.
Hopefully we see you next week.
Hopefully we're through next week, Rob. Yeah, brilliant.
Carol Ramsbottom there, who does have Sober Glory, who goes in the first heat in trap 1, so not too far off now, literally about 19 minutes away. But before then, we do have the 707 at Monmore, where we are having the first heat of the Ladbrokes Summer Stayers Classic, an absolute treat for you. I was lucky enough, Dave, to be honest, to be OBing last year for the final, and obviously saw Warzone Tom win it. Obviously goes again tonight in a later heat, but it's an absolutely stunning competition. I've got a real thing for the six benders, so I'm excited for this. But where are you looking for this first heat? Try and dissect
Well,
it
we start
me.
well, don't we? And we've got a Derby finalist, we've got the St Ledger champion, you've got Droopy's Google, who could be anything, stepping up in triple, though I've made him my lay tonight. But yeah, hell of a race to start with.
Yeah, certainly is. Well, Droopy's Google on the shift out to 15 to 8 from 7 to 4, but we are actually going to have a look at Droopy's Google, running last week from trap 4 here against Claire Keith Remy.
Yeah, gone against Droopy's Google. I think I sort of feel like I've got a couple running for me against him. Cachise, who's obviously a capable sort up on the inside. I think Pep in the steps not without a chance here, coming in as the reserve in trap 2. And we've got the St Ledger champion, Havana Lover, in 6, although question marks over her. This is her first race since April, but a decent enough trial, 28.43, beating Warzone Tom last time. And 16.37, 16.38 would suggest that, you know, she's well enough to perform here. I wasn't convinced that Droopy's Google would stay, to be honest with you, from what I saw there. Obviously, you can say, you know, it's the dog's first go over a trip, he'll improve, etc., but it wasn't a massively deep race for me, I didn't think. You had Brady's Bullet in there, you had Claire Keith Remy in there, who the pair of them I wouldn't have down as the strongest stayers either, and he's come back to them. Now, he'd need to get off the front, but he's 15 to 8 in a decent race. You know, conditions seemingly testing, so he'll need to come forward, but he can. He's lightly raced, and he was very classy over 4 bends. You know, as a dog that sort of really needed some sort of clear run, and he could serve it up to anything. The step up in trip gives him a chance to get off the front, but it's not a given. You know, Cachise can trap as he did last week. He was fetched in by Distant Emma, and if one led 3, I think Droopy's Google might struggle, but he rowed quite nicely out of 2 last week, Cachise, but he's never a dog that I've fancied as a bang railer. And I thought there could be a bit of a squeeze around the first couple of turns here, and Havana Lover might just swoop around the outside. A little bit of money around for 5, who's an interesting runner, was in stripes in that race we just saw and wasn't beaten too far. You know, if the race slows up, seemingly a strong tracker, Brinkley's Butler, could go well at a bit of a price, but I sided with 6, but you know, it's a decent race. I think there's probably a bit of juice in the price of 2. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how some of these go. Droopy's Google having second go over the trip, but the story is the St Ledger champion back in action.
Certainly is. I'm going to be with the other bookend. I'm with Cachis in Track 1. Obviously having his first race tonight since last week. Before that it was Derby final night, where he did run a good race in defeat, but then obviously had a bit of time off, solo trial at Hove. That run against Distant Emma, obviously a bitch we're going to see a bit later on, who's obviously won the 3 steps. But I was impressed with the fact that he still managed to do that 37.80, and he may just come on a little bit more from that run. But if he can do that sort of time again, wouldn't even really need to find anything. Just want to give a little shout out to Hang On Mart in Trap 4. Now we had Lee Pittman email in earlier. This bitch is, he bought I guess for like a bit of fun. He's got a friend, a work colleague called Martin, who has this thing about white greyhounds. Says they're unlucky.
Right.
So Lee bought this bitch, a white bitch. Well, she's white and black, but not got too much black on her, and named her after Martin. So it's great to see her running. She's been running well at Toaster and round Henlow. Obviously has had a couple of trips over this distance. Did win. It was a bit of an easier open back on the 29th of July, but did find a bit of time last week and still did that 30.
He's open racing now, isn't he, Lee, though, because he's got a proper trainer now.
Oh, I'll let you get that one in there. He's got a really good team with Peter Hand, and they've got Slaker Smasher.
Oh yeah,
running
that's an interesting one a bit later on, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting dog. Really excited to see him. But yeah, it's a red hot heat, I think, to begin with. See Droopy's Google the punters are listening to you, Dave.
Oh,
they're against you.
That might seem foolish, you know. It could be 6 clear with a lap to go.
Cool, but like you say, very strong over the 4 bend, but there's plenty of stamina here. Like you say, Havana Lover, Cachis on the inside, support for him.
If he bangs out, you know, he's going to take some beating Derby finalists off the front.
Certainly will. But they're all locked and loaded, so let's hand you over to Keith.
Race 4, the 707, the Ladbrokes Summer Stayers Classic 2023 Heat 1, reserving Trap 2, Pep in the step. They're off. 5 was slow to stride, and round the first bend 6 goes on from 1, then comes 4, 5, 3 and 2. Into the home straight, and it's Havana Lover serving it up to Cachis. Then comes Hang On Mart. These are followed by Brinkley's Butler. Then the reserve Pep in the step, and the back marker is Droopy's Google. Onto the far side, and it's Havana Lover by a length and a half to Cachis. These are clear of Hang On Mart and Brinkley's Butler. Between the last 2 bends, Havana Lover bidding to make all with a 2-length lead from Cachis. Off the final bend, Havana Lover goes wide, but still has the call. 6 the winner, 1 second, 4 stayed on for third, 6, 1 and 4.
And it is the studio forecast. Havana Lover for losing Rab McNair and the KSS Syndicate. When she traps out, she is such a game bitch on the bunny. Great run from Cachis in behind for second, but he just couldn't reel her in time. And a massive shout there to Hang On Mart, staying on very strongly, coming back at them, to be honest.
Yeah, good run this from Havana Lover. As I say, the St Ledger champion. Not been seen since the 22nd of April, winning it was the Hunt Cup at Oxford, and she runs a lovely bend, clean bend around the outside, doesn't look to drop in when there's rivals inside her, and good run from Cachis as well to keep her honest all the way round. Droopy's Google's probably run too bad to be true there, in all honesty. I mean, you wouldn't have fancied him going into the bend having been led by 1 and 6, but he's not really shown too much, so fingers crossed is nothing too serious with him at the back of the screen there. You can see he seemed to rally a little bit late on, but that's not the true Droopy's Google there. But yeah, good to see Havana Lover back in action, and you know, perhaps the forgotten animal coming into this Summer Stayers Classic. What was she, 14-1? She won't be that next week. I can give you a clue.
No, definitely not. So we're going to head off for a quick break. Hopefully we'll bring you the time soon, just to wrap up there. There was 15-8, Havana Lovett, your winner. Catrice back in second, 13-8. Favourite and third was Hang On Mart at 20-1. Forecast paid £6.12. Tricast 33.36. And after the break, we have the first heat of the third round of the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby.
When you bet fair on racing, you get daily rewards. So any day can be a big deal. On the Betfair Sportsbook, get extra places on horse racing any day this week. Daily rewards with Betfair.
At Bet365, we encourage all of our players to play safe. So before you take a look at today's fixtures, log in and check out our responsible gambling tools. Like deposit limits. You can set a daily, weekly or monthly limit that helps keep an eye on your spending. So you are able to enjoy the things that matter most. When you play safe with Bet365.
Want betting on the horses that lead from the front? You're on. With live streaming of racing 24/7 from around the globe. And daily offers, including extra places, free uni boosts a day, and our best odds guaranteed. You're on. Plus today, get money back as cash if your horse finishes second or third on selected races. Unibet, you're on.
Catch the best thoroughbred racing from South Africa alongside 15 live greyhound races at 11 o'clock every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday morning, live here on Sporty Stuff TV.
Welcome back to RPGTV, where we're about 8 minutes off the first heat of the Irish Greyhound Derby. Plenty to see. Obviously, bobsleigh dream goes in trap 2, and we're actually going to show you a little bit of early footage of her while we've got a little bit of time now. And this is a stunning performance here to come from where she did, Dave, but you did a typical style of moving into the rail and then storming home off that last bend.
Yeah, I watched a preview with Ian Fortune and Kevin Hennessy, and they basically said that she was waiting off the front and just doing enough. But she's got some engine as Bobsleigh Dream. You know, once she gets to that rail, she stays very, very strongly. And yeah, she's going to be really, really hard to keep out the frame. I couldn't be against her. You know, you're obviously chancing that she gets across to the rail at some point early on anyway, but she absolutely bombs down the back. And yeah, I couldn't be against her. She's probably going to be a short price, but unopposable for me.
Yeah, I'm completely with you, to be honest. I mean, she's an absolutely stunning bitch. Been a really big follower of a recent Oaks finalist. I mean, she was great to watch in the Cesarewitch as well, around Mullingar. So yeah, she's. I'm surprised actually. I thought that maybe the trip would have been a little bit short, but she's been showing us she knows where that line is. She's an absolute class act, but it's a very hot heat. Obviously, we heard from Carol Ramsbottom earlier about Sober Glory in Trap 1. Has his ideal draw tonight, and I mean, he has been crying out for the inside on his last couple of heats running from Trap 3. Could take full advantage of that on the inside. Yeah,
I just wonder whether if you offered them the swap, if they'd take it and you'd rather just be trying to clear Bobsleigh Dream rather than hold her coming in, because we know she's going to step inside. But yeah, there will be punters out there and layers who are thinking, I might go for the whole lot here and lay 1 and 2, which wouldn't be the craziest thing to do here at 5-4 and 6-4. Obviously going to be a bit bigger on Betfair. And thinking that, you know, they could come together early on, any sort of squeeze on the inside, and you've got the other 4 running for you. So be interested to see how this one pans out. Clear run, I think 2 proves too good.
Yeah, I completely agree. We're both with Bobsleigh Dream for that. Now, with the first heat going off at 7:20, we obviously have the second heat of the Summer Stayers at Monmore at 7:24. So we'll get our selections in for that, and we're also going to show you a little bit of footage of one of the greyhounds running, and it is Low Pressure, known as Larry, to all connected to him. And of course, what a run this was last week, Dave.
Yeah, the Kent St Ledger champion. He's a trappy sort. People are getting a little bit carried away with what I said earlier on about Havana Bailout. Everything will be okay, because I think she'll miss the break. And I've backed Low Pressure. I think he traps. I think he gets across. She might lift off, but I think he'd be away and gone, and he'd be very, very strong over the trip. As we saw, really, you know, he's a dog that when he was whizzing round Crayford, he was fastest in the first round of the Golden Jacket. The dog's got pace, but he stayed this trip very, very strongly, as he's proved here in this trial stake. If he doesn't clear Havana Bailout, then the race is up for grabs. You know, I'd make a case for Hope's Woof Woof around the outside. There could be carnage, but I think you'll see a flash of blue. He'll clear Havana Bailout and he'll be away and gone. Lively Lauren, 3rd in the Regency, runner-up in the Brighton Bell, loves it over a 6-bend trip which she can bowl along out in front, but she's going to need to get across, and I wouldn't fancy her back running Low Pressure. She definitely needs to get first run on him, so you're going to need to see her clearing and be racing away with a lap to go. The Black Jacket there. Lots going to rest on the start in our next race at Monmore. Yeah, certainly will. Well, Havana Lover set the marker with the first heat in 38.15. It'll be interesting to see who wins the next and in what time. Obviously, we're only 4 minutes away now from the first heat of the 3rd round of the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby, and what an absolute lineup it is tonight. There's some stunning greyhounds on show. I think it's so easy to get drawn to some of the big names that have still gone through, but we saw the surprise turnover last week, Dave, with like Ballinabola Ed going out. Is there anything... Ireland's loss is our gain, because it sounds like he's going to be going for the select stakes, so... Never mind, we'll enjoy him over here. He's, but you are right, you wouldn't mind being a layer last week, because there was a few big guns going out. Certainly was. I got the Monmore betting for you there for the 7:24, where it is Low Pressure, the 6-4 favourite, Havana Bailout, and also Lively. I've got a lot bigger Lauren. Than 6-4. I can give you a go. Lively Lauren, I'm surprised is as short as she is. I just thought with the draw in 4, she's a dead race, I mean, there will be many people thinking that 6-4, what a joke price that is. Havana Bailout's going to move off, and that is where the Lively Lauren school of thought comes in, that the inside squeeze, she's classy over 4 bends, she'll cut loose. But yeah, as you say, she's plenty short enough, but it's a great race. Certainly is. A couple of minutes away from this first heat at Shelbourne, so make sure you get your bets. I know. having a good chin wag in the paddock there. But yeah, obviously it's quite easy to get drawn towards the inside pair, but just a couple of others to mention. Obviously, Tommy's Hewick out in trap 6, a little bit of money for this greyhound. I mean, he ran a very good second behind Ben's Teddy last week. I mean, he was beaten 6 lengths, but everything else was 4 lengths or more behind him, and his trapping seems to have really come forward lately, so could be a little bit of value to be had there. Also, Music Glide Away in trap 5, very young light race sort. Finish as well. He ran very well behind Ballymac Marino last week, and always had him sort of in his sights. So you can understand a little bit of support there. Got their draws out wide. Stories Cash Out. I think he's a very clever dog, to be honest, Dave. I mean, he waits for his openings. He knows when to take them. But do you reckon it could be a case of... He'll get an open in here. As the traps open, he'll get an open in here.
Yeah, certainly will. And Sporty Big Man in trap 4. I mean, came third behind Story's Cash Out last week. Just like a yard of early and has to usually do it the hard way. Come from behind, but it is a very stiff trip, 550 yards around Shelbourne as they're being loaded now. First 3 through. 2 next week. It is Sober Glory and Bobsleigh Dream, though, that are proving to be favourite in the betting. But we'll find out what happens is hand you over to Ian Fortune.
Derby, 3rd round, 1 Sober Glory, 2 Bobsleigh Dream, 3 is Story's Cash Out, 4 Sporty Big Man, 5 Music Glide Away, and 6 is Tommy's Hewick. The hare coming up behind Traps for the opener. And off they go, and a good start by Trap 2. Bobsleigh Dream leads to the corner, 6 on the outside, Tommy Hewick, and it's Tommy Hewick will lead them round from in second to Bobsleigh Dream. Then comes 5 Music Glide Away, but up front, and it's all about Trap 6, Tommy Hewick, and 2 Bobsleigh Dream, and Bobsleigh Dream makes her move up the inside, hits the front in the 3rd bend, from in second, 6 Tommy Hewick, then comes 5 Music Glide Away, Sober Glory staying on, but up front, and it's all about 2 Bobsleigh Dream, clear off the final turn, and Bobsleigh Dream will score. In second spot, it's ties between 5 Music Glide Away and 6 Tommy Hewick, but Bobsleigh Dream, she shows her worth. 29-29, a massive run by this dual classic winner.
Wow, 29-29 from Bobsleigh Dream. We will be bringing you the replay a little bit later, but obviously we're only a few minutes away from the 7:24 at Monmore, our second heat of the summer stayers. We're low pressure on a bit of a drift now, Dave.
I'm already on, so bring it on. This is obviously a talking point here, isn't it? Lots of people not too happy about the seeding of Vanna Bailout. I've sort of suggested that I think she's going to miss the break and it might prove redundant anyway, which is why I've backed low pressure. Claire Kefremi, a classy sort over 4 and 6 bends, a proven competition dog. Lively Lauren, 3rd in the Regency behind Space Jet, runner-up in the Brighton Bell. Should be looking to make a move early on. Hopes Woof Woof, you know, if things do get messy on the inside, Jason Heath's Charge might be the one to pick up the pieces out wide. But yeah, some classy animals on show here, but a lot's going to rest on the start.
Yeah, certainly is. Hopes Wolf of little bit of support from 14s into 12s. Was run up in the maiden derby at Toaster for Jason Heath and Amanda Giles. Should be interesting to see how he goes after his 38-30 trial last week. Does have a great pitch on the outside. BT Sparkle in trap 5. Big price at 18-1 for Kim Billingham. Has had a couple of spins around Nottingham recently, but has returned to home soil. But yeah, certainly looks between the inside pair. Havana Bailout just edging into favourite now, 15-8 in trap 1. I think it's going to be interesting for a lot of people watching to see how she fares from this trap. Obviously, we had a lot of discussion about her tonight. Tweet from Mick G saying, evening Anna and Dave, great racing tonight, especially at Shelbourne Park. Full credit to the track staff at Monmore tonight. The staff standing back from the traps and the starter not putting the flag on top of the traps the way it should be. Also one from Paul Wing saying, is it guess the winning line at Monmore tonight? Talk about making it difficult for punters, put a winning line down. That's the actual line, so everyone can see.
It's never I've never factored in whether you can see the winning line, whether I'm trying to back a winner or not. I think once they're racing, your money's already down. Is there no line down? Is that what we're saying? There's not a winning line. Is there usually one?
I do think that because a lot of the tracks do put a line down now.
Well, I said to you though, didn't I? Look at the trees in the background. It's so windy, and you just can't put one of them down if it's that windy.
If it blew up as they were coming up to
well, exactly. I mean, I'm sure there's an
line.
argument that we probably should be in the realms of some sort of alternative to something like that. But it is windy there, so that might be a reason why they've not put it down.
Oh, they're all going behind the boxes for heat number 2. No pressure on the drift from 6-4 out to 2. Savannah Bailout, though, standing solid now at 15-8.
You're going to see a flash of blue here, Anna.
I'm hoping so.
All over.
Good old Larry. I mean, what a dog he's been for Dave and the connections. I mean, I thought when he won the consolidation race around Hove, I mean, he was only 3 spots slower than Space Jet in the final. So definitely a ground in good form, but they're rolling. Let's find out what happens and hand you over to Keith.
The Ladbrokes Summer Stayers Classic 2023 Heat 2, race 5, the 724, Hares into the back straight. They're off. 1, 2 and 6 got the best of the break, and there's a bit of crowding, and 6 and 1 go on from 5, then comes 3, 4 and 2. Home straight for the first time, and Havana Bailout at the head of affairs, a length in front of Hope's Woof Woof, and these are chased by Beatty Sparkle, and they're clear of 4, 3 and 2. Onto the far side, and it's Havana Bailout serving it up 5 lengths clear to Hope's Woof Woof, a length and a half then to Beatty Sparkle, round the second last bend, and Havana Bailout keeping up the gallop, 3 lengths clear from Hope's Woof Woof, and then comes Beatty Sparkle. They're on the run in now, and one's going to win by a diminishing margin, probably a neck. 6 is second, 5 third, 1, 6 and 5.
Certainly does look that way. Havana Bailout, though, for Liz and Rab McNairn, the KSS Syndicate, did show a good bit of early out the boxes. Low pressure, just needed to be, I thought, a little bit more confident, to be honest, going into it. Bit of scrummaging behind. We've also seen Lively Lauren go out, Claire Keith Remy. Great for the connections of BT Sparkle and Hope's Woof Woof, though, but Havana Bailout, she got on the bunny, but she said when we were watching that, Dave, it is such a testing 6:30, and you think is the line going to come in time?
I don't think it is. I think the track's quite tested tonight.
Yeah.
It will underfoot. I mean, that was what made the Lynx Maverick run so incredible, but some dogs have struggled to get home. She's lifted off and taken the ground of low pressure there. They've been drawn round the other way. He might have gone round inside her, but racing lines into the turn, and she goes marching on there, and 6 and 5 chase her home. Hope's Woof Woof's run a hell of a race to close her right down there as they hit the line. You know, there'd be plenty of people saying on the straight there, she done it like a railer to me.
I thought she railed a lot more, though, around the first couple of bends. She didn't move off, I think, like a few people were expecting. So we'll just see what happens with the draw for next week. But obviously, rail, middle and a wide C goes through. 15-8 favourite was Havana Bailout. Second was Trap 6 Hope's Woof Woof at 10-1. And third, the outsider at 18-1, BT's Sparkle. Now, we owe you a replay of the first heat of the Irish Greyhound Derby, which obviously saw Bobsleigh Dream do her usual trick of lunging to the inside, getting into a good position, actually a lot earlier than what we were expecting, but she's beautiful to watch over any sort of staying trip, isn't she, Dave?
Yeah, as soon as she gets daylight, I mean, she's moved 2 to 3 down the back and just blown her away. You know, she's proven at the top level, and she's still doing her thing. And while she continues to get draws towards the rail, she's going to be a real handful in this derby. So far, she's had to contest with Trap 4, Trap 2 here. And, you know, if she gets 1 or 2 in the next round, she's going to be a handful again.
There certainly is. Also, Music Glideway and Tommy's Hewick going through. But obviously 13-8 for Bobsleigh Dream. Music Glideway was 8-1 and Tommy's Hewick was 9-2. Forecast 18.05, TriCast £52.20. Now we're off for a break, but before then, we're going to head back to Rob over at Shelbourne.
Right, a big night at Shelbourne, third round night of the Derby, and we were chatting earlier, Michael Dempsey, we say it every year, but I suppose this is when it doesn't start, but it cranks up a notch or two.
It does, yeah, when they all get together on the same night, and I'm sure there'll be a clearer picture after tonight. You know, it's a couple of very good heats. There's one heat, I think heat 2, there's 4 heat winners in it. So, no, after tonight, it will get a little bit clearer, well, as clear as it can ever be, I suppose, but it's great racing so far. There's a few big names gone over, a couple of new big names emerging. So, no, it's good so far.
Yeah, obviously Hoffa's the one everyone's talking about, but it was sort of that case this time last year, and we saw what can happen to Ballinabole Ed. Like, there's a lot of contenders at the moment with 4 rounds to go.
Oh, there's a lot of, look, it's the Derby, there's a lot of very good dogs. You just can't afford to miss it. You know, if you miss it, you're gone, that's it. have to do everything right. And there's some nice dogs there creeping along nicely, you know, not doing anything wrong. There's that new import dog, there's no one really mentioned him, but he's creeping along nicely. There's a few like that, and they're going to go a long way into it.
Yeah, you happy with everything so far?
Yeah, no, everything's good so far. So no, everything's good. We're happy enough, and long way to continue now.
We're nearly halfway there. Hopefully the second half goes just as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. Sure, look, as long as everything is all right, and there's going to be sub stories and people going home sad and people going happy, but that's the derby, isn't it? That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and we must mention the quarter-final draw on the Shelbourne Facebook page after racing tonight.
Yeah, that'll be after the last race. We'll go over and do it, and it'll be up online then, please God, fairly soon after. The Michael Fortune Memorial Plate that joins in next Saturday night, so all the quarter-finals are together next Saturday. So that's it. Quarter-finals is always a great night's racing.
Yeah, we look forward to that.
Yeah, very much so.
I can look at 12 horses and the form all at once. Come on. The app is my paddock.
Once the race starts, we don't bother with cheers in our house.
When the race is on, I try to remain calm.
If it's possible to love a four-legged beast and a wee tiny man sitting on top of it, then I love you!
Boost your racing odds at ladbrokes.com.
Betfred presents Check out our exclusive offers every day. Play in-store and online with Betfred.
Okay, we're coming up to our second heat of the Boylesports Irish Derby. Potentially a big night for the Dowlings with three big runners. And Shane Dowling, we've got the Laddie Da running in our second heat. What have you made of him the first two nights?
Sure, look, the first night he was brilliant. He did everything right. And last week I thought he was even as good as he was the first week, even maybe better, because it was a new scenario for him. He missed his break. He initially dived to the left because I suppose there was nowhere to go. He see a wall of bodies in front of him. So it was a very, very good race, and he did very well to qualify. Might have got a bit of look at the bend, but I thought he made up big ground from what happened to him at the Trap Rise.
And heading into the Derby, he done a real flashy run. I suppose that was the night he really came on the scene.
Yeah, look, we always thought a lot of him. He started off in Tralee. We started him at 16 months in Tralee. Look, there wasn't a whole pile else on. 1-2 rounds of the juvenile at 16 months. You have to be a good greyhound to be able to do that. Actually got bowled over in the semi-final and was on the easy list for a little while. And sure, you know yourself, when a dog comes back from that, you'll be wondering, but never showed any signs of it, just took off. And going back to your original question, yeah, he ran very well that night. And look, he's a real nice dog, but I suppose they're all real nice dogs here tonight. They're going to have to do it right.
Yeah, he's in the red jacket, and he's 4 from 4 in the red jacket.
Yeah, I hope that sign is good, Rob. But look, it's a new game tonight. He's going to have to come away. He's in with the cream of the crop out there, and he's in good form. We can't do any more with him. It's up to himself now.
Okay, straight after that you got Ballymacwalt. Again, leading up to the Derby, did a really good run here. How have you been? What have your thoughts with him?
Yeah, look, he won the Champion Plate very impressively here. Maybe hasn't been at his best the last 2 weeks, so we're a little disappointed last week. He didn't get home. Very good dog past him, obviously, coming home. But look, just take that aside. He was a bit disappointing. We're hoping he'll strip a bit fitter tonight. We're hoping for the best. He's going to have to be. Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, you take qualifying right now.
100%.
Okay, and then we come on to Ballymacarena. A lot of people were saying maybe he was your best chance. How has he been? Because obviously Toaster and now the Derby here.
Yeah, look, I thought he ran two very good races, two fine races. The first week, obviously, he was lucky to stay in it, but he was also very unlucky in running. To me, he was running a grand race that night. Mr. Chelm came up his inside. He got involved in a bit of a scrimmage, but got in as fast as fourth. And last week ran well out of Trap 1. Trap 3 is a great box for him tonight, but Trap 4 is a real early pacer and tends to edge inward, so that's a bit of a worry at Trap Rise, so he's going to have to be smart away, and if he is, I think he'll be okay. It's a very, very good heat again. I'm not taking it lightly or anything like that, but he's a really classy dog, but he's going to have to come away running.
And you say a classy dog. We've seen bits and pieces of that. There's no doubt more to come with this lad.
Well, I hope you're right, Rob, but he has all the ability in the world just to put it together, I think.
You know what it takes to go all the way. You never want to get knocked out, but from here and next week, you sort of start maybe looking forward and really maybe enjoying it.
It's all about inches, Rob, inches. If you could just qualify tonight, that's all you want, and just keep plugging away. And again, look, it's obviously, like you said, nothing too flashy, just stay in the hat and we'll be happy.
Best of luck.
Thank you. Cheers.
Great to hear from the Darling Kennels there, who obviously do have D-La-Di-Da in Trap 1 here. No surprise going off the even money favourite, I thought. As they were saying there, just completely missed his break last week, but was from Trap 4, not ideal for him. I'm expecting to see a big run from him tonight in the red jacket. But one we're going to show you is Ben's Teddy in Trap 2, running last week. Obviously on the 5th of August in his heat, was drawn at Trap 1 then, and what a performance this was, Dave.
Yeah, you know, this dog really shifts down the back, and he comes home strong. I think his clocks were very impressive as well. Going to be very hard to beat if he's to hit the front at any stage, but you just have to fancy that the red might have the legs of him to the turn here, and then you're looking at a dog that's going to put 29-20 on the board, and asking Ben's Teddy to then fetch that dog in is a massive ask. Undisputed, she has done no wrong. 29-48 last time. You know, if there's a bit of trouble on her inside, she'll be away and gone for Pat Guilford. 7 wins from 19 starts. She's a real handful. New import, I was quite impressed with last time out when he by 2 lengths in a fair time as 29.53, but truth be told, I think in order for others to win, one has to miss the uphill. I don't think if one comes away racing, I hold much hope for the rest to navigate a way around him early on, or to fetch him in, I think looks a big ask.
Yeah.
Special.
Yeah, you'd just sort of be looking at what's going to be hoping to qualify in behind. Just to put that bit of VT in perspective for some of you at home, Ben's Teddy then, he was actually 3 lengths slower than Corlevanny Hoffer into that third bend on the third bend sectionals, but he did manage to clock the same overall time of 29.31. So he's one of those that just seems to keep building momentum and has really got the gears in the final stages as well. But yeah, looking at a few of the others undisputed on out to 11-2. I mean, what a bitch she is. She rockets out the boxes. She runs that first bend with such confidence. She's so keen as well. She's on the bunny. She's a tough one, but like I say, it's such a classy second heat. We've got the Monmore betting on the bottom of the screen for you there for the 7:44 heat 3 of the Ladbrokes Summer Stayers. 8-11 Droopy's Clue, very exciting one for Seamus Carhill and the Keylight Hire Limited Syndicate. Another holiday as well on the drift from 7-2 out to 4s. Now, I think he has a better draw this week. He was obviously in Trap 1 last week, but he's one of those, for me, he is a more middle runner. I mean, he lost some ground and momentum last week when he was trying to step out at the first bend, but then he did manage to pull it back to qualifying second, behind Undisputed, as well as plenty of stamina in this race. Clonroo Sydney in Trap 3. I mean, he ran a very strong race last week as well. He does want the rail though. He's not blessed with the most consistent early, but another likely race, so he could keep coming forward. We do see a lot of this in this derby, don't we, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, this. You as a trainer, Anna, you tell me, would you have one undercooked coming into a derby? A lot of trainers rubbish that and just say, look, it is what it is. You need to be ready to rumble because every race is a difficult one. But you do see dogs come forward. I think this Ben's Teddy is a type that definitely took a huge step forward last time. But I think you're looking at a big player in this year's derby in the red jacket here.
Certainly.
And there is the bell. Heat 2 of the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby. 1 D-La-Di-Da, 2 Ben's Teddy, 3 Clonroo Sydney, 4 Undisputed, 5 Another Holiday, and 6 is New Import. Here up behind Traps. Off and racing, good start by Trap 4 in the middle. That is undisputed. Took a flyer, 1 Deladida in second. Then comes 5 Another Holiday, but it's undisputed. Into the bend from 1 Deladida takes the inside line, and Deladida strikes the front in mighty impressive fashion. It's 2 lengths to 4 undisputed. Then comes 3 Clonru's Sydney and 5 Another Holiday, but Deladida under pressure again from undisputed. Deladida kicks again off the final turn as Deladida leads to the line and will score in second spot. Oh, tight finish for second and third, but Deladida in 29.15. He's a serious Derby challenger. Desperately tight between Ben's Teddy, Clonru's Sydney and undisputed for third. Again, that winning time, 29.15. Brilliant from Deladida.
It certainly was. 29.15. What a time from the Red Jackets to not even break as well as what we've seen, but he certainly knows how to drive the bends. We will be bringing you a replay, obviously, after the 7:44 at Monmore. Obviously, Droopy's Clue, the 8-11 favourite in this. Now we can show you Droopy's Clue running back on the 30th of July, and this was in the Juvenile Classic over at Toaster, and obviously had drawn Trap 1 here, Dave.
Yeah, he's always a dog I've been a fan of. He's a dog that is not the most consistent at the boxes, it has to be said, but when getting daylight, he's a monster. He moves so nicely down the back, strong running salt. Stepping up in trip here, looks very short to me here at 8-11. Obviously, he's done that 37-39 trial, which is absolutely sensational. But I mean, if he'd come here just off the back of doing this, fetching him righty, what sort of price would he be? I just think he looks a crazy price. The track's testing from Post to Pillar and Droopy's Clue are both stepping up in trip here. I didn't think we're guaranteed to stay, and are definitely not guaranteed to stay in testing conditions here too. So I've gone nap with Derby's Delight, a ground who is guaranteed to stay. We know that he's quirky, he's chasey. He looked a little bit like his old self at Nottingham. I thought he'd sort of been below par prior to that, and I was looking for a sporting nap tonight. Anna, you should go for one sort of on a night in which the racing's good and you feel like you can get a few jollies beat, and I ended up with Derby's Delight here at double figure prices. You can bet him each way. You could certainly have him in a couple of forecasts. I think he'll qualify, and I'm hoping that he can get some sort of run. We know he's chasey, that he can get after him late and swoop late to score.
Are you happy with him in Trap 4?
Yeah, I mean, like I've said, the draw's a bit of a muchness, really. The dogs just trap and are on top of the bend here. I mean, if Mini Bullet smashes out like she can, and she's classy, she's sort of given 35 seconds a shake, she's dipped inside 35 seconds over the 5.75, and she's in front, then you're asking a hell of a lot of Droopy's Clue and From Post to Pillar on their first go over 6 bends to navigate past her with that short run to the turn. What kind of pitch are they going to be in? So that's what I'm hoping for, really. I'm hoping like a Mini Bullet, or perhaps a Long Acres Bullet, although he would be quite a hard one to fetch in. And it just gets a bit muddly, and these dogs are asked to really dig deep, and you'd be expecting Derby's Delight to be coming home hardest of all of these. So that was kind of my play into this race. But 3 could cut loose, win off the track. 5 could cut loose, win off the track. We know that they're top class animals, but I think there's grounds to take on both at the prices.
Fair enough. I'm afraid I am with Droopy's Clue. Very short, but he's my anti-post bet for the summer stayers.
Jolly, you've gone with the Jolly. Favourite backer.
I was just so impressed with his trial. I watched, and obviously it's harder to tell when they're having a solo trial and there's nothing to compare them to, but the way that he just sort of lolloped around the track and made it look so effortless, and to still do that 37-39, I thought this is going to be a greyhound I'm expecting to have a serious career over the 6 bends. I mean, he's only just turned 2. He's already landed his first Cat 1 with that Juvenile Classic we've shown you, and that was the furthest we'd seen him up to that point, was the 500 metres. So I'm just hoping he's going to sort of be able to do that trial time in a race, and I don't see why not.
Well, he's gone almost 40 spots quicker than from post to pillar, but he's holding on to favouritism because there's been plenty of money for 5.
I think from post to pillar it'll be interesting to see if he stays against some of these. But they're all locked and loaded, so we're going to hand you over to Keith.
Race 6 to 7:44, the Ladbrokes Summer Stayers Classic 2023, Heat 3. Here's halfway down the back straight. They're off. 1, 4 and 5 broke well. 3's right there. Then comes 2. Oh, there's trouble. 4's badly Bolton drops away. 3 got involved, but into the home straight for the first time, and from post to pillar has gone clear of Mini Bullet and Longacres Bullet, and then onto the far side for the final time, and from post to pillar, long gone. 8 to 10 lengths clear from Mini Bullet in second. Then comes Longacres Bullet, with trap 3 Droopy's Clue trying to stay on, but between the last 2 bends this is one-way traffic from post to pillar, well clear, and has made short work of this lot after the trouble. 5's the winner, 3's second, post for third, takes 6 over 2.
And it is from post to pillar that has done it in fine style. Droopy's Clue, what a run from him as well to get up to manage to qualify after all that trouble at the first bend. And unfortunately, Dave, I mean, Derby's Delight.
Oh, what are we doing up with the pace?
Broke too well. Got tangled with Droopy's Clue.
I mean, it has to be said. I mean, even if 4's gone round clean in behind from post to pillar, wow, what a performance that was. With a lap to go, he's already 6 clear, and he's relentless, isn't he? What a class act. Olympic champion, puppy collar champion, Kent Plate champion, and he's going to have a big say in this Summer Stayers Classic as well, because that was absolutely sensational. Good effort from Droopy's Clue. You know, for me, questions to answer in terms of stamina. I don't care what they put down on a trial sheet, you've got to do it in a race. But I think he's battled on well there, just to qualify, you know. So his semi-final draw is going to be very, very interesting, but an absolutely sensational performance there from post to pillar.
Certainly will be exciting to see.
Aptly named from post to pillar as well, because how he's won.
Will be interesting to see what time he's done. Obviously, Havana Lover did clock 38.15, and from the second heat, we saw Havana Bailout go around in a 38.30. So while we're waiting for that time to drop, we do have the replay of obviously our last heat at Shelbourne, where we saw De-La-Di-Da do it in fine style from track 1, 29.15. An absolutely stunning performance. We're actually going to go for a little quick break, and we're going to bring you it after there, so hold tight.
The final stone of these championships.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary.
That's not bad at all.
We believe every sport should be epic.
Berlin.
So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
And here's today's favourite, number 4, First to Feel Rain. And you can see why, Gina.
He hasn't got the most attractive head, but he has an impressive turn of foot for his size.
He must be 20 hands at least.
Just loves the big occasion.
Feature at stud, Gina?
Not sure, Matt. Unlikely to be wanted for breeding. Worthy favourite, Matt?
Definitely the favourite, Gina.
Even the Irish will back this English banker.
Don't feel like a punter, feel like a favourite with great offers on the Paddy Power app.
Want betting on the horses that leads from the front? You're on. With live streaming of racing 24/7 from around the globe. And daily offers, including extra places, 3 uni boosts a day, and our best odds guaranteed. You're on. Plus today, get money back as cash if your horse finishes second or third on selected races. Unibet, you're on.
Hey, I'm Gary Ashburn, and I've been working in the world of collectibles and memorabilia for over 30 years. I'd love you to join me every Sunday night at 10 p.m. for Collectibles Guru, where we showcase awesome items from the worlds of sport, music, TV and film. You'll hear the stories behind the genuine signatures and get a front row seat into the world of sport and showbiz. So tune in every Sunday night at 10 p.m, only here on Sporty Stuff TV.
Welcome back to RPGTV, where we do have obviously the Monmore result to just high up there. It was from Post Villa winning at 5-4. Droopy's Clue back in second, the 10-11 favourite. Third was Droopy's Service at 25-1. Forecast paid £2.83. Tricast a bit bigger. Now we do owe you a replay from obviously that 7:39, the second heat of round 3 of the Boylesports Irish Derby, and de-la-di-da. Obviously, not actually broke as well as what we were expecting, Dave. Undisputed, showing plenty of early pace.
Yeah, what a second
How
end.
he drove the bends was brilliant to watch.
Yeah, just whipping into this second turn here, getting up the inside of Undisputed, and then in that clear daylight. I thought his stride shortened a bit going into the third turn before just almost on top of him, but goes again and kicks on and wins really, really well. And decent time on the ball, 29.15. So a big player in this year's Irish Derby. But I think you'd want to see him near to the rail in the draw. You know, I think this going forward, the trap draws are going to be crucial. They always are anyway, but even more so in this year's Irish Derby.
Certainly are. Second was Clonmore Sydney at 11-1, and third Ben's Teddy at 11-2. Forecast £12.24. Tricast 35.06. Now ahead of the next heat for the Irish Derby, let's hear more from Rob.
Right, well, we're looking to the third heat of the third round of the Irish Greyhound Derby, and Peter Cronin, you love getting dogs to the third round, but ideally you want them split together. Your lads are side by side.
Couldn't work out if they were the other way around even to be held, because the 5 dog will probably drift in. I think the 6 dog will probably drift in a little bit. But look, they're 100% on great form. You know, Kildare, Mr. Shelms is running particularly well. You know, and he hasn't trapped because, you know, he's been in England for 12 months, so it's a big difference. Like, but I think he's showing all his pace. Like, but we'll see. You know.
Yeah, I bumped into obviously Mikey, as you know, when we were on our holidays and we were chatting about Mr. Shelm, and he was telling me you only had him 2 or 3 weeks before the Derby.
Like, we only squeezed into one run into him, you know. He done 28-25 here, and that was it. Like, so he's only had the 3 runs back, you know. I couldn't fault him in any of the runs. He hasn't trapped the way he can trap. I mean, he went through the Derby Plate unbeaten last year. You know, I went through most of the rounds of the English Derby unbeaten, we'll see. But look, he's a year older now and that, you know, so we'll see, you know. Yeah,
and 4 probably is his box. I know Trinity's in 5, but 4 is probably his box.
Yeah, up the middle of the track, you know, that kind of way it'll suit him down to the ground, you know. He has good early when he hits it. Yeah. You know, he's pacing up, all right, like, he's probably a link faster than Trinity between 2 and 3. Right. But Trinity might have a link faster to the corner, you know. That's about it.
On to Trinity, obviously, the last time we chatted, he'd won the Champion Stakes. Yeah. Were you disappointed he was caught last week?
I wasn't really. It's probably my own fault to a degree, because when he won the Champion Stakes, I just gave him a couple of gallops. I left him off for a week and I gave him a couple of gallops because I didn't want him too forward for the Derby. So, you know, you're trying to get him into it and you don't want him, you know, peaking too quick and that type of thing. So I just left him. So I just gave him a couple of gallops. I think he ran too well the first night, kind of thing, and a little bit of bounce factor, I think, just caught him a tad coming home, right? So I'm not really too perturbed. I mean, if he hits the front tonight, he won't be caught, like, you know. But I know he says the 550 properly, and that's just the way it is. The Derby's a long way, and you can't, you know, you have to roll the dice and take chances, you know, and that's it, you know. Yeah.
Dream scenario is both qualify. Is there one has a better chance just the way the race is suiting tonight?
Rob, you don't want to ask me that, because I'd get that wrong if it was 50-50. I mean, on all known form, Trinity should beat him, you know. But is Mr. Chelms capable of breaking and, you know, doing a run? I think there's a run there. I think there's a 29-30 run in him, you know. Would he do it tonight? If I back Trinity, he probably would. But look, if the two of them qualified, I'd be delighted. I can't fault them. I know they're 100%, so I know they're going to run well, you know.
And that was Peter Cronin there, who's got obviously Mr. Chelm and Trinity Junior going in this. Trinity Junior 15-8 current favourite though, and I thought looked a nice thing here. I mean, he's got bags of early pace, should really set the pace. He's a strong four-bend dog, but had the very informed undulation behind him last week. I mean, we've seen what he's capable of last month when he won the Champion Stakes over this course and distance in 29.34. So it's definitely one to be taking on part. But we're going to show you Mr. Chelm first, when he was finishing second behind Clona Duke last week, Dave.
Yeah, this is seemingly a dog who's come back to life. He certainly lost his way and was running below par over here in the UK after changing hands for a significant sum of money. Back with Peter Cronin. And yeah, I thought he showed plenty of sparkle down the back here, travelling all over the back of the leader. And I thought we could go from the front here. You know, this is a classy sort, formerly known as Kildare, as we know, and looks back to his old self.
Yeah, it certainly does. But on the drift from 5-2 out to 11-4. And we'll also show you Trinity Junior running last week, where he led everywhere apart from just before the line, where Undulation managed to pick him up here.
Yeah, I mean, the inside draw was a massive advantage to Trinity Junior when he won the Champion Stakes. And he's got a fair engine, you know. He moves nicely into the turn. He'll rip into the third bend as well, and he's bred to be strong enough. Lockhill Blake, you penalty, but he's going to have his hands full trying to clear his kennel mate, Mr. Chelm. But should he hit the front at any stage, he's going to be hard to beat.
Are you with either of the pair?
Mr. Chelm off the front for me. With
Mr. Chelm for Dave then. I'm with Trinity Junior, just mentioning a couple others of these. Hawkfield Blue in Trap 2. I mean, he was held up a few times last week when running against Halo. He was very unlucky to not win. He just lost out by a short head, but he just kept coming back at them. And I thought if he turns handy, he could run a big race on the inside. Ballymat Walt, obviously, we heard the interview earlier. For me, I thought he had every chance last week, but he was picked up obviously by the strong staying Clonruth Sydney that we've just seen, and McNeil. It was sort of about 50 spots slower than I think what many people are expecting. Did that 29.87, but had a nice clear run round. Obviously, you've got bigger prices in Garfinny Blaze in Trap 1. He certainly has the stamina. He's still young as well, improving. Glued to the inside rail last week. Definitely one to be keeping an eye on. And Freeway Charlie at a massive price in Trap 3. Improving youngster, but he just need to do that again tonight against this field. It's a very hot heat. I'm being told from post to pillar, we believe has done a 37.72. Well, that blew my thoughts of me thinking he might not stay out the water.
Yeah, it shaped like it could end up being a messy race, but he just cut loose and ran away from them. So yeah, really good effort that from post to pillar. Right, let's catch up with some emails. Melroy Fernandez, evening all. I was pondering who to back for the Monmore Gold Cup, Lynx Maverick and Churchfield Sid. After winning the Pall Mall, I was tempted to go with Maverick. I asked all in the studio last night who they would pick in a 2-dog trial around Monmore, and all three went with Churchfield Sid. Done an ACCA, and I was waiting on Sid for big money. I think Lynx would have to get knocked out now for Churchfield Sid to win it. Just goes to show, don't get swayed by the professionals.
Oh, go with your gut.
Mel Fernandez. What else have we got here? Joseph Crome says, fancy Hawkfield Ozarks to do the business in the 803. He likes it in the white jacket. That's from Joe in Kent. 8-15 on the board there for that one. Our next race, Paul Stevenson, very much looking forward to tonight's action. He fancied Lardy Dar in the 7.39. And going with Scaglietti in the 8.50. Good luck to everyone.
Good luck with them. Here's Ian with Heat 3.
And there is the bell. The runners in 1. Garfinny Blaze, 2 Hawkfield Blue, 3 Freeway Charlie, 4 Mr. Chelm, 5 Trinity Junior, and 6 is Ballymac Walt. Hair up behind traps. Off and racing, good start by trap 5. Trinity Junior in 4, Mr. Chelm in second, but Trinity Junior will take the corner from in second 4. Mr. Chelm, 2 Hawkfield Blue, checks off, and out front it's the 2 Peter Cronin train runners. Trinity Junior, Mr. Chelm challenging on his outside to the third bend. It's 5 Trinity Junior. Here comes Mr. Chelm, and Mr. Chelm strikes the front from 5 Trinity Junior, who will surely come back at him. It's Mr. Chelm, Trinity Junior, Hawkfield Blue up the home straight, and Mr. Chelm back to winning ways. Second is 5 Trinity Junior. Garfinny Blaze come out of the clouds to grab third, but it's safe to say Mr. Chelm is back. 29-21. A brilliant run by this former English Derby runner-up.
Certainly is. 29-21, and it is great to see him sort of bouncing back there, Dave. I mean, he's ran a couple of good seconds, but he seemed to really have the sparkle in him there.
Yeah, he's certainly... Form has improved since switching back to Peter Cronin's kennel, hasn't it? It was a fine burst of middle pace there.
Certainly has. We will bring you a replay, but after the 8:03 at Monmore, we see Heat 4 of the Gold Cup going now, and obviously very short price favourite in Hawkfield Ozark in trap 3 for Pat Janssen. I mean, understandably, Laurel's winner, third in the Pall Mall final. He's had 7 races before at Monmore, and he's had 6 wins, a second. 5 wins second, and then unfortunately a 6th, but that was in the Winter Derby final. He has done 28-23 round here, and I just thought that his campaign at the other tracks seems to they freshen him up when he goes on his travels. He's one of those, and I think he's going to be full of running in this. Could you oppose the 8-13 Jolly?
I'm not going to oppose him, but I suppose you could argue that in an ideal world, maybe you'd switch 2 and 3 around, because they might sort of cross lines on the run to the turn, and 2's not lacking for early pace either, but I made the Danger 5 Stevie Knows, who's a class act, and be strong over this trip.
Fair enough. We can show you Hawkfield Ozark though, going way back to the 18th of Feb in his Winter Derby heat here, and very impressive, Dave, on the eye.
Yeah, you can see him sort of moving middle there, out of trap 1. Maybe they should change the seed into middle, because that's what you're going to do out of trap 1. Who knows? But yeah, I don't think the switch to 3 will be too much of an issue to him. He's a very versatile and classy dog, and yeah, I think if he does it right at the boxes, you know, they'll be playing for second there, and I do think it'll be Stevie Knows who's coming home. So I mean, the 4-7 is not going to be for everyone, so I'm going to put up Fav to beat second Fav here, and I'm going to dig deep here and be with 3 over 5.
Enough. Obviously, Stevie Knows has to be respected. He does win A1s for fun around Sheffield. Obviously, he's won a couple of opens around here recently. He's got that electric 28-15 on his card as well. He's got a good draw in 5, and if he gets it right out the boxes, he is going to take some catching.
Quickest on the clock, 5.
Yeah, going to be, I think, a bit of a match race between the pair. Slick Saratoga for Keith Alsop and Pat Janssen on a little bit of a drift. I mean, he did do 28-28 back in March. Has had a few runs at Kingsley, Toaster, Oxford recently, but has a good draw on the inside. Is one that tends to stick to the rail when he does run from trap 1. Aero Electric in 2, massive price at 12-1. Still very young, nice bit of local knowledge, and he's been consistent on his times for Richie Tabanera. But Smoky Frankie as well in 4. For Vicky Lee, I thought was an interesting one. He's found time with each returning trial. I mean, would need to find more against these, but certainly doable from a lightly raced dog. They're all in. Your favourite is Hawkfield Ozark at 4-7. Let's hand you over to Keith Hewitt.
Race 7, the 8:03, the Ladbrokes Gold Cup 2023 Heat 4. Hares behind the traps. They're off. 3 and 5 get best away, then comes 4, 2, 6 and 1, and Hawkfield Ozark leads to the first bend and goes clear at the quarter. From 5 then comes 4 with 6 now going third. Onto the far side, and it's Oakfield Allsack by 4 to 5 lengths from Stevie Knows. Then comes Aero Sid, and these are followed by Smoky Frank at the 3/4, and it's Stevie 3 Hawkfield Ozak being chased by Stevie Knows, and is going to win by a diminishing margin. 3 the winner, 5 second, 6 is third, 3, 5 and 6.
It is Hawkfield Ozark for Patty Hansen, but very close with Stevie Knows, obviously coming with that strong finish as we were expecting, but it was all on the break, Dave. Hawkfield Ozark smashed out the boxes and did manage to hang on.
Yeah, I think it is testing there, but he's got bags of pace, isn't he? We've seen him win sort of over the 400 at Romford, stepped up in trip. He was classy in Ireland, he's classy over here, and yeah, he's come back to Stevie Knows, but as expected, Stevie Knows is a powerhouse, a classy sort, and it's going to take some holding in this competition as well of a clear run, because he's strong over the trip. So Fav beat second Fav there. Wish it was that simple every time, eh?
You wish, wouldn't you? Hawkfield Ozark in great form there. This time last year was winning the Irish Sprint Cup at Dundor. The final is actually this Tuesday. Aero Sid running for third there. Now we do owe you a replay of the last heat at Shelbourne Park, where we saw Mr. Chelm, obviously known as Kildare. The way that he ran the third bend was beautiful. He just showed such confidence. Obviously Trinity Junior, good burst of it, but Mr. Chelm, stronger dog on the day, Dave.
Yeah, I did worry slightly that he'd made the wrong choice here to switch wide down the back, but he looks a different dog, doesn't he? He looks strong over the trip. We know he's classy because he finished runner-up in the Derby, but yeah, this is a real return to form for Mr. Chelm. So well on to Peter and his team. On he goes.
Certainly is. Garfinny plays absolutely coming from out the clouds, as Ian said, to get up for third place. Plenty of stamina in that young dog. But obviously it was Mr. Chelm United, 4 favourite winner. Second, Trinity Junior at 5-2. Garfinny blazing third at 14-1. £9.12 forecast, 42.64 the Tricast. And over at Monmore, we saw obviously Hawkfield Ozark, the 4-7 favourite win. Second was Stevie Knows at 9-4. Third, Aero Sid at 16-1, forecast £2.61. Tricast £9.67. Now let's have a look at the Trap Challenge, and it's Trap 1 just leading the way with 3 wins. Trap 3 and 4 with 2 wins apiece. Everything else is on the board with 1. Now we're off for a quick break.
Betfred presents Check out our exclusive offers every day. Play in-store and online with Betfred.
The William Hill 5. Top tips for positive play. Don't chase losses. What are you doing? Know your limits. Get support if you need it. Take a break. Keep it fun. Find our safer gambling tools online or in shop.
It's the final straight. Your horse is challenging for the lead. Victory is so close you can taste it. This magnificent animal giving everything for his jockey. And in the last strides, your horse is beaten. Fortunately, with Coral, you'll get a free bet up to £10 if your horse finishes within a length of the winner. Available every day of the season. Coral.
Right, well, we're looking to the fourth heat of the Boylesports Irish Derby tonight, third round action. Jennifer O'Donnell, you've got 7 Beach in Trap 1 in our fourth heat tonight.
Yeah, he's a nice young pup that we have. It's going to be very hard to beat Hoffa. He's not well drawn in Trap 1. Ideally, he wants 3 or 4, so we see them as a rails coming into the Derby, but he's after getting Trap 1 now this week and again last week. So look, we're looking that he'll have a bit of luck and maybe sneak through in second or third spot qualifying at this stage.
Yeah, we saw him obviously down in Kilkenny, I suppose, in the under race, and there was a night on a benefit night. I think he broke the sectional clock to the third bend. Like, this lad can fly when he has it all.
Yeah, he's a very fast pup. It's his first time up in Shelbourne with the Derby. He only had one look around it beforehand. He did 28.51 the night in Kilkenny. He was coming back off injury at that point. He got injured in the first round of Produce Stakes, so he did a nice sprint for us, and we put him into the night in Kilkenny, and he flew that night. Like, when he hits the lids, he has fierce early pace. We just haven't seen it here yet. He can, if he hits the lids, he can show a lot of early, but look, he's just battling away to get through the last 2 nights. So if he can get through again tonight and start improving, then we'll be happy with that.
Okay, now there's one dog we've seen plenty of early here from, and that's the other Kobe. A lot of people are expecting big things from tonight.
Yeah, look, he's well drawn in Trap 3, even though he will go straight to the rails, but he does seem to break better from the middle. Look, what can you say about Kobe? He's been hugely consistent for us over the last 2, this year and last year. Again, I take third tonight. I'm not looking for any big runs, just get through. It's a very hot heat with Cloney Duke inside him, and then Ryopi Beach out in 6. So again, I'll take third. Yeah,
but if he hits the lid like he can, you'd have to give him a big chance.
He has a big chance. Look, he's a hugely fast dog. He's phenomenal early, great to deter Ben, not the strongest home. So last night he ran a cracker in my eyes that he battled hard. Down the back straight, I thought he was gone, and he really put his head down and dug deep to qualify.
Now, we must ask you about Born Warrior. Obviously, this time last year he was winning every heat. How is he? Are we going to see him again?
Look, he came off wrong after the first round of Derby. I don't know yet whether we will see him back on the track yet. Time will tell.
The best of luck tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Jennifer O'Donnell there with 7 Beach in this fourth heat. I mean, he did move right out the boxes last week. He was middle on the back straight and was wide coming home, but he's young, he's lightly raced. He could have learnt a lot from that run. But one of those I'd rather see a bit more middle drawn, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to find the second here, aren't we?
We are, really.
Callaway Masters is a strong salt, no 2 ways about it. Would prefer a pitch on the inside here. I'm going to go with 7 Beach on the inside. I just think can hold the row. 6 will be away and gone, but having that inside line into the turn can be an advantage. But it's not really a play race here. You know, if you want to back Kullavani Hoffa, you should probably back him to win the Derby rather than 2 to 11 to win this third round heat.
Certainly looks that way. Well, we're going to show you the superstar in action, Kullavani Hoffa, and that 29.31 run last week, and he just absolutely runs away from them. But what a dog he has been so far in the Derby, and you can understand from this performance, as well as the first round, why he's obviously top of the betting anti-post.
Yeah, he's putting the times on the board, and the seeded dogs are quite thin on the ground, so the way he's running and the makeup of his races, I mean, this is a prime example of races that he may face, albeit, you know, the opposition are probably going to be a bit warmer than the 5 inside him. He's just going to run his line to the turn, fly into the bend, and take some holding. You know, he's not got to worry about dogs coming across him, dogs coming in on him. You know, what happens if he half misses it? Because that track around the outside is always going to be there for him to run into. So that's why he has to be short. He had to be really, really short here. He's 2 to 11, and rightly so. The dog's won by 8, he's won by 9. He might just win by 10 tonight.
I think he will. I mean, if you look at his times last year, his sectionals to the third bend, he's still a couple of lengths off them. So obviously the way that he's going, He's just getting stronger and stronger, isn't he? So it's going to be very exciting to see what he can do for this. But good luck to everybody involved for heat number 4. Let's hand you over to Ian Fortune.
Air Emotion for Heat 4 in 1-7 Beach, 2 Scotty Scheffler, 3 Capitan Garfio, 4 Boccos Crystal, 5 Callaway Masters, and 6 is Coulivanny Hoffa. The hare coming up behind Traps. Off and a good start by Trap 4 in the middle. Boccos Crystal, 6 Coulivanny Hoffa challenging, but it's Boccos Crystal on the corner from 6 Coulivanny Hoffa. 1-7 Beach. We have a race in our hands. It's Boccos Crystal, Coulivanny Hoffa now charging up the outside. 1-7 Beach draws closer, but to the third bend it's 4 Boccos Crystal. Here comes 6 Coulivanny Hoffa. Nip and tuck. Boccos Crystal, Coulivanny Hoffa. 1 back in third, 7 Beach, but Boccos Crystal repels Hoffa off the final turn. A shock in the cards. Boccos Crystal gets there from in second, 6 Coulivanny Hoffa, and 7 Beach back in third. The winning time 29.45. That is a turn up for the books, but a brilliant display all the same by Boccos Crystal.
Certainly was an absolute surprise there for a few people watching. Boccos Crystal showing all kinds of early pace, managing to avoid Callaway Master trying to find that inside rail. And to be honest, I thought she tied up slightly last week around the last bend, and then she had that little bit of interference with Romeo Hotshot. So she's kicked on and felt him on her heels, and that's sort of given her a second wind.
Yeah, listen, it's easy to sit here and look at Coulivanny Hoffa and say, oh, what an upset, a turn up for the books, the 2-11 Jolly, the anti-post favourite. But she's a fair bitch in her own right here, and Bev Lockhead, who's a lovely lady who owns her, along with Graham Holland, of course, and the team, to have got her like that after you say, she definitely faded a bit coming home for me last time. She's trapped, and she's held him on merit there, 29.45, a great run.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was Boccos Crystal going first, Coulivanny Hoffa in second, and 7 Beach for Jennifer O'Donnell getting up for third. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, obviously, where some of the railers are drawn for next week's round. But we have obviously the next heat for the Ladbrokes Gold Cup coming up not too far away at Monmore. Got actually my anti-post selection here is YI man for the competition. I think he's really flourished into a brilliant dog. I was expecting short 4-6, but I can't go against the anti-post selection. I mean, he's so exciting to watch. Obviously, the kennels, we've heard from them how they're thrilled to have him. He's still lightly raced, but he's just really been putting it together nicely. And the fact that he's had his hat-trick of open wins recently, he's in such flying form. His confidence is soaring, and I couldn't get away from him. Could you, Dave? I know you're not a fan of going with such a shorty.
I'm not, but much like Hawkfield Ozark, I think he's the class act here. Flick of a Coin's got a little bit of speed about him, but he's the winner of our own race, the RPGTV Derby Plate, and he was very impressive in that. I like the way he really knuckled down to the task here, because he is, well, I've pigeonholed him as very much a sort of early pacer, a dog that we're going to see at his best when in command and out in front. But the front two have come together, but he's very gutsy down the back here. He opens up nicely, he tracks bravely up the inside here, and he did the same a few starts back when picking up Coulivanny Shadow. That wasn't a straightforward task. Now, Coulivanny Shadow burnt up a hell of a lot of petrol to get to the front, but he's proved himself not to be a one-trick pony. But I think he's got enough about him to go from the front here. And yeah, we'll need to be doing right at the boxes. But as we say, I think he could turn in second, maybe to the likes of Flick of a Coin, and maybe prove too good anyway.
Yeah, he's one of those. I still don't think we've seen the best of him, and one that I'm expecting to see keep improving through each of the rounds. Hopefully will justify his sure odds. Obviously, we've got Betsy's Bullet in trap 1 at 3s. Brighton Bell winner at Hove. Obviously, Winter Derby finalist here. I would have been, I think, giving her a little bit more attention if she was drawn a bit more middles. She's one of those that she did edge out of trap 2 last week and then did step out slightly round the first. I just thought there may be a little bit of coming together between herself and Flick of a Coin, who has got good early pace, but he's 38 kilos. I mean, it could go the other way. He could hold her in, but if she tangles up with him, I'm hoping YI Man can shoot on the outside.
Yeah, he's a big old unit going into that turn, so yeah, they'll need to tread carefully. The likes of Betsy's Bullet and YI Man. Christopher Machin, evening all, cracking nights racing. What a run by Lynx Maverick. All the best for your selections. That's from Chris in Gibraltar. Catch up with a few of these. We've got a Stan's been on. Nat for all the viewers is Narcos Tartar in the last race at home. There you go. It must be a good thing. All this good racing at Monmore and in Shelbourne Park, and my man's putting up something in the graded action at Hove in the last. But there you go. This one's from Chris Abbott. Just like to say well done for Billy's Blazer and Andy Slater winning his heat at the Guys and Dolls, and Watkins New Era winning at Monmore. Drinks are on him now tonight. Regards. Chris here, Andy, who's taken out a licence as well, so good stuff. Gerald McGrath is Bobsleigh Dream, different class. Do give us a comment if you're watching us on YouTube. I know quite a few of you are. Remember to comment, like and subscribe to the Racing Post Ground TV YouTube channel, which will also be able to rewind as well if you're watching us as well, so if you've missed any of the action so far. Joe Wilson, evening all, says on the TV that the race distances at Shelbourne Park is 550 yards. Is that correct? My mate reckons it's 505 yards. Thanks, Joey Wilson. Interesting one there.
I've got 550 yards down, 503 metres.
There you go. Ian Tungett, that might be where the confusion lies. Ian Tungett, talking about Chris, she's only 14 weeks out, so it could be a dark horse. She's very fast and bombs of early. Okay, good luck there. This one's Brian in Leicester. Dave and Anna, what a show. Very impressed from Post the Pillar. Results have him winning in 27.72. Wow, it might be an issue with the data supplier. Yeah, I'm sure we'll rectify that when they send the full results at the end of the card. Barry Rooney, drives me mad from a punting point of view. Why do tracks have some traps so close to the first bend? At what point does someone actually think that's a good idea? The Donny 450. Romford 575, I wouldn't have that close to the first bend. Sheffield 660, Monmore 630. Even forgetting about punting, they also have Cat 1s of these trips. Just don't get it. Why and how is this acceptable? Never has a phrase, better to be born lucky than rich, been more apt when your dogs run at these venues. Just can't work out why. Not a bit of punter. I took 9-4 from Post to Pillar. But a 6:30 race was over in 30 metres. I completely get what you're saying. I mean, the argument, I suppose, Barry, is that you don't have to bet on them. You know, I remember the 416 that they used to have at Monmore, that 4-bend trip. I mean, I just wouldn't have a bet in that at all. You know, you don't have to have a bet in every race. If you don't like it, if you don't feel like you're getting a fair crack at the whip, then just don't play. You know. Chris says, great show. When was this sent in? 9:20. Don't know if I'll accept this, but I'm going to anyway. It says Hoffer is overhyped. Anna stated this times to the third bend this year are slower than last year. A back runner like Ben's Teddy matched his best time in the second round. He ain't winning no derby. Clonbrine Treaty for the gold. Be lucky. Chris. Obviously, I mean, what was the off time of our last race, Anna?
What, at Shelbourne? It was 8:14. When was it sent in?
Chris, I just can't have that. You can't be saying that after the race. That's just after time, isn't it? I mean, to start with, Hoffer is overhyped after the dogs just finished second in the third round of the Irish Derby. You should have come on before the race. That would have carried much more weight with me. But good luck with your punting, my man.
Good luck, certainly. They're all going in for this Ladbrokes Gold Cup heat number 5. Last couple locked away. YI Man, your clear favourite though in trap 3 for Mark Wallace and the MWD partnership. Let's hand you over to Key.
The 8:23. This is Nobby Clark's 80th birthday stakes, the Ladbrokes Gold Cup 2023 Heat 5. Hares behind the traps. They're off. And 4 Kalara Coco was fast away and leads from 1, 3, 6, 2 and 5 round the first bend. Kalara Coco at the head of affairs. Wahaiman's involved in scrimmaging and it's got an awful lot to do just to qualify. They go to halfway and Kalara Coco 6 lengths clear from flick of a coin, and then comes Betsy's Bullet and then Wahaiman. Going to the final bend, Kalara Coco's long gone, heads for home, 5 or 6 lengths clear, up towards the line. 3 did well to get second, 2 third, 4, 3 and 2.
It was a 4-3-2 finish. I mean, I thought Wahaiman ran an absolute belter to get up to qualify for second, but no doubt there about the winner, Kalara Coco for Nathan Hunt and Mr. Candlish, the owner. I mean, beautiful
Alex,
early
he's a top
pace.
man.
Alex, great. I mean, she's missed a break a couple of times around Romford, but absolutely loves these boxes. Always very quick off the mark. I mean, she has got a 28.19 on a card back in an opening
Bred to be
May.
good, isn't she?
Certainly is.
Jessie.
And I mean, once she's hit the front, she wasn't letting anything get too close, was she?
Yeah, as you say, she's been running out of the 5.75, so to cut loose like that. Really good run from Wahaiman. Has run like a dog that's going to qualify, and then the champion trainer is going to get a smash break out in the final, is going to win the competition. But we shall see there. But yeah, good effort from Wahaiman, and what a run from Kalara Coco there. Went on to Connections. Nathan Hunt, the trainer as well. One of the more comfortable winners, not quite in the realms of From Post to Pillar, but a very comfortable winner there at a fair price.
Good price. 7-1 was Kalara Coco. Second, Wahaiman back at 4-7. Third was Flick of a Coin at 8-1. We also have a Shelbourne result for you where we saw Bocco's Crystal home up in at 6-1. Second was Coolavani Hoffer at 1-6, and third was 7 Beach at a good price of 12-1. Now, before we head off for the next at Shelbourne, we're going to head back to Rob at the track.
Right, we're coming up to our 5th heat of the Derby tonight, and it's a big night for the Buckleys. They've had a few runners already. And Emma, Glengar Martha, I suppose, she won last week, but she wasn't the one everyone was watching in that heat of yours.
No, probably not, and to be honest. She probably wasn't the one I was watching when I knew she was out in front. You know, I was confident that, you know, she'd stay there. I was kind of watching the white fella in behind her, and look, it was disappointing, but she ran an absolute cracker. She's young, she's progressive, and, you know, she keeps showing that same early and keeps consistent. You know, she'd be a hard little bitch to keep out of it. She's really coming forward these last few weeks, and I don't think many would have expected her with her age to get to an Oaks final, but she has the talent and she's running very well, staying at 550 strong too.
Yeah, when we were down there coming up to the Derby, your dad was sort of just, you know, having her as part of the team rather than a major fancy, and then last week gives her a big chance of going at least a couple of rounds.
Yeah, definitely. We were kind of thinking of holding her more for the puppy competitions later in the year, like the Puppy Derby and the Puppy Oaks, but again, when you have a bitch with that pace, you kind of have to give them the chance. And look, she reached an Oaks final here, and you know, she finished third from a bad draw, so you know, she keeps getting nice draws. She has every chance really, but look, she's a cracking bitch. It's a tough heat tonight. She has a very good dog and Drippy's Bro on her inside, and obviously Rahamov will be coming from the clouds wherever she is in that race, but no, look, if she comes away like she did last week, she'll have a chance.
Yeah, now a little bit later after the Derby we're shown the 9th race, Road Exile. He was a dog to beat in the Irish Sprint Cup up to last week.
Yeah, look, things just went wrong. He missed it. You know, we probably have our reasons and maybe why he missed it, but look, you just have to put it down to a bit of bad luck, and he's here, you know, he's AO, so you have to take that chance with him and, you know, give him the run, and, you know, while he's in good form, we're going to keep him running. So, yeah, look, he's a nice little dog, gets to 525 lovely as well. You're just hoping that he doesn't miss it now, coming back to a different set of traps, obviously, but no, look, he's run this place well in the past, so you're hoping that he can get a run tonight.
And I remember your dad telling me if the Irish Sprint Cup wasn't on, he probably would have thrown him into the Derby.
Yeah, we think that he will get 550. He's gotten stronger since we've really first purchased him out of Cork, so we were going to chance him had he have got knocked out in the earlier stages, but you know, with his early he would have been a big player in it. But look, he's a young dog and he's likely raced enough yet, so there's always next year for him too. But yeah, no, we'll keep him ticking away here, and yeah, hopefully he'll have a big end to the year too. But it's a nice enough race tonight for him.
Now, we started with Bell and a bowl ahead, so we better finish with him. There's no doubt there's a lot of gloss gone out of the Derby with him gone.
Yeah, look, I suppose there's been some brilliant performances and there's been some huge casualties, and you expect that with every Derby, and look, it was just the class that was in this Derby, you have to expect it. But no, look, it's disappointing, but you have to take disappointment and turn it into opportunity, I suppose. So he's going to be heading on the boat tomorrow with myself, and we're going to bring him for a trial around Nottingham for the select stakes. And yeah, look, hopefully he can go well there. It might all be for luck, but yeah, look, he's going to have a big end to the year as well. And you know, again, he is lightly raced too, so you know, we'll make a new plan for him, and we'll go from there. One bad defeat doesn't mean that you give up. So
yeah. Absolutely. Select Stakes is 2 weeks on Monday, so he has his trial. Then he goes to Select Stakes. And then the Derby, obviously, is the following Saturday. Might we see him here in the supporting card if everything goes to plan?
that is the plan, yeah. What race we put him in, we're not sure yet. Obviously, we want to give him as big a long run down to the corner as we can. But, yeah, no, that is the plan. He's a dog who loves plenty of work and loves his racing, so it shouldn't be an issue. Shall all go well and he comes off safe.
Yeah, well, best of luck with Marta here.
Thank you.
Always brilliant to hear from Emma, and obviously exciting times for Ballinabola. Ed, but now we have heat number 4 of the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby. Heat number 5 we're on now. I'm race behind. And we can actually show you Rahamofo in action back on the 28th of July here, and running from her usual trap 5 in the first round heat, and was a classy performance, a bit that certainly stays on, Dave.
Yeah, I was really impressed with her. Well, I've been impressed with her a number of times, Rahamofo, but I thought she ran a hell of a race in the Dundalk International, which was a great tussle with Ballinabola Ed there, coming through to score. And yeah, she's going to be very, very hard to keep out the frame. Irish judges far greater than I have told me that Droopy's Bro is a good thing here. But I thought this is a really, really good race, and I've gone with Rahamofo. But there you go. If you're interested, some Shrewdies, the other side of the Irish Sea, are all over the red jacket here.
So am I. It's my nap.
There you go. I can assure you, you're in good company.
I was just so taken with his run last week. Obviously, he was drawn in 4. He is a dog that likes to be closer to the rails. He had trouble on the run-up. He was taken out round the first. He was stopped again at the second. And then he actually cleverly looked like he decided to stick to the outside because there was a bit of space there. He ran on strongly and was only beaten a couple of lengths in the finish. Obviously, back in trap 1 tonight, I'm hoping to see a big run from him, but obviously Rahamofo is one that's you've got to be respected. She actually broke quite well last week, sort of went with them into the bend and just seemed to lack that little bit of confidence, let them all through and ran on well for third. But she does run her best races, I think, when she misses the break, and she enjoys that chase of trying to catch the ones that have taken off in front. And shout to Burj Khalifa for Kevin Boothby out in 6. Nice to see him having a runner that keeps progressing. But they're all in now for heat number 5 as we hand you over to Ian Fortune.
There is the bell, ladies and gentlemen, the runners for Heat 5 of the Boylesports Derby. 1, Droopy's Bro. 2, Glengar Martha. 3, Milridge Levy. In 4, McNeil. 5, Rahamofo. And 6 is Burj Khalifa. There, up behind traps, racing. Good start by 1, Droopy's Bro. 5, Rahamofo on the outside. It's Rahamofo and 1, Droopy's Bro on the corner. Droopy's Bro goes on from 3, Milridge Levy, and 5, Rahamofo. But Droopy's Bro quickly puts pace to the race. He's opened up by 5 down the far side. 3 is second, Milridge Levy. Then comes 5, Rahamofo, but Droopy's Bro clear on the third bend by 4.5, 5 lengths. 3, Milridge Levy, and 5, Rahamofo next, but up front, and it's all about Droopy's Bro, a brilliant winner, tied for second. 3 on the near side, perhaps Milridge Levy, and 5, Rahamofo storming home. The winning time, 29.42. It looked faster. Droopy's Bro winning very well indeed.
Certainly did, and looked at a good thing out in front. Still a pup for another month, only September 21. Well, really nice looking dog. He showed all kind of confidence going into that first bend. Rahamofo broke again well, but just ever so slightly at that first bend. And Droopy's Bro said he stayed on well enough last week to get up for second. So once he hit the front, I wasn't too worried, Dave.
Oh no, you was wading out the second bend there. Gapped him nicely down the back, lovely back straight pace, and Yeah, Mert's got a nice type on his hands there. That's 4 wins now from just the 10 starts, and continues to bounce out like that. You can see how hard he's hit the line there. He's a bit of a player.
Yeah, certainly is. Hopefully we'll get drawn close to the rail again for next week, and obviously close between Millridge Levy and Raha Mofo. So we're waiting for those results to drop. We're going to have a quick break.
Want betting on the horses that lead from the front? You're on. With live streaming of racing 24/7 from around the globe. And daily offers, including extra places, free uni boosts a day, and our best odds guaranteed. You're on. Plus today, get money back as cash if your horse finishes second or third on selected races. Unibet, you're on.
At Bet365, we encourage all of our players to play safe. So before you take a look at today's fixtures, log in and check out our responsible gambling tools. Like deposit limits. You can set a daily, weekly or monthly limit that helps keep an eye on your spending. So you are able to enjoy the things that matter most. When you play safe with Bet365.
When you bet fair on racing, you get daily rewards. So any day can be a big deal. On the Betfair Sportsbook, get extra places on horse racing any day this week. Daily rewards with Betfair.
Well, obviously, heat number 5 of the Gold Cup was Nobby Clark's 80th birthday stakes. Nobby there in the yellow shirt, looking great for his age, Dave.
He is, yeah. Full head of hair. What a man.
No. He looks very happy with his trophy there. So hopefully enjoying a great night at the track and backing plenty of winners. Our next at Monmore, the 8:43. Obviously, we're back to the heat still of the Gold Cup, where we've got a favourite in Maglass Sid in trap 4 for Gary Hamilton. I'm going to be with the favourite here, Dave. I keep trying to find some value in different runners, but I thought the race was made up perfectly for Maglass Sid. I mean, he's got a great draw. I thought there's going to be a little bit of coming together from the inside trio, but he's also got that rapid 28.07 on his card. I'm just hoping that the fact that he hasn't raced, his last race was actually 6 weeks ago, isn't going to catch him out a little bit.
Yeah, this is a really, really interesting race. Probably wouldn't be a more topical winner than trap 2 here. He's one of our own, given that Harry Kane, who was obviously known as one of their own at Tottenham's, now moved to Bayern Munich. Winter Derby finalist, obviously had his problems. He's back. He burst onto the scene in sensational fashion during that Winter Derby and put himself up there, as one of the most exciting prospects in training in the UK. He's come back with a 28.40. If he comes back the same dog, he'll pulverise these, because Hopes Rhino shouldn't offer much resistance to the turn, and neither really should Drive On Lad. He's one of our own that we saw originally. He was a dog that was fairly trappy, but good late early pace. He was really flying into the turn at Monmore, and he'll need that to get up the inside of 4 here. A dog that could go a bit of a price droop is Ambush. He's a quirky sort. But switching around tracks certainly wouldn't do him any harm. And he comes, he's not raced at Monmore since February He's been to Oxford, he's been to Swindon, he comes here without a trial. He could come alive at a big price here. So, yeah, I would be putting 6 in your full cast and tri-casts. It's hard for me to put up 2 because he's been off the track for so long. But he's strong enough in the market to suggest, and I think the draw's kind in that Hope's Rhino shouldn't really trouble him to the turn. So it'll be a tentative pick. I'll be 2, but I'd love a price on 6 to qualify because I think there could be some juice in that.
Like you said, mentioned about Droopy's ambush, obviously he was last here back in February. Are you bothered that he's not had a trial? The fact that he has got experience round here?
No, I think the fact he hasn't had a trial is in his favour because he's a quirky dog. I think Matt was looking at sticking him over the hurdles maybe at some point, but dog's got a big engine. He's won 12 from 28, but still not won as many as his ability would suggest. And yeah, I like the fact he's come here without a trial. As I mentioned, he'd been to Oxford, he'd been to Swindon, and he's fresh, and he's I think the type that would appreciate switching around.
Keep him on his toes. One that we are going to show you is Maglass Sid. Obviously drawn trap 4 tonight. Was drawn trap 4 on this occasion back on the 27th of May when he was running against Antigua Woof Woof in an open race, Dave.
Yeah, came away racing, showed really nice pace, 28.07 on the board here, and a really good performance. And I think he's going to need a fast start, but has got the early pace because your drive on lads and your Hopes Rhinos and your Droopy's ambushes are going to be closing in on 4 here. I mean, 5's done nothing wrong of late. Carol Weatherall's Untold Yen on the VT, they're running out of 4. It looked as if 4 edged inside, so I think this is a fair draw for Untold Yen. Again, another type 7 wins from 19 starts. I just can't, with any real conviction, fancy anything out of track 5 at Monmore. They have to be an absolute good thing for me. I just think it's a horrific box to break from. I've always fancied the inside boxes as the best traps to race from at Monmore. I think so often you see dogs that smash out and then sort of step off a little bit, but because they come away racing so well from the inside, they can get away with that. And yeah, I'd rather be on the inside than the outside at Monmore, which is very much a speed track, but a lot rests on the start as well.
Yeah, certainly does. We'll soon find out though what happens with Untold Yen. Like you say though, it's been in great form round Swindon, winning a last couple of opens there. Had no luck when last here on the 15th of July. Got a lot of trouble early doors. That was from trap 4. So hopefully it'll be nice to see Untold Yen get a clear run, but they are coming still for Maglass from 7 to 4 into 5 to 4, and it's just sort of pushing a few others out on the market. Bit of a nibble for Hope's Rhino though, did look a bit overpriced to be honest at 12s.
Good draw, yeah, be strong over this trip. A couple of comments we've had in on YouTube. Richard C, always a fantastic show. Who else we got here? Kevin Oates, well done to 7 Beach as well there. So that's the 99 people watching us currently on YouTube. Let us know what you fancy there. Emails, Janine Westbury, hi all, great show tonight. I'd like to give Drew Richard at Havana Kennels a shout out, a massive congratulations to him for the winners tonight. He bred Lynx Maverick, Havana Lover and Havana Bailout. Just Havana top note to run, so good luck from the Emerald Isle, Janine Westbury. Good stuff. Billy Easton, great show as always, guys. But Dave, you need to have a word with yourself. You say the going is terrible at Monmore. Yes, the postman broke 38 seconds. Have a word. Maybe the postman's a good animal and would have gone even quicker on a normal track.
I say, if you look
Maybe
at the times of everything else, it does hint that the track is running a bit on the slow side. But if anything, just
I'm going to stick to, I think the track's on the slow side at Monmore.
Just certainly look
fast
that
dogs
way.
will do fast times, but they could be faster.
It could be, but it just shows what performances some of the others have put in that have gone a lot quicker. But they're all in now for heat number 6 of the Ladbrokes Gold Cup. Let's hand you to Keith.
Race 9, the 843, the Ladbrokes Gold Cup 2023, Heat 6. Hares at the traps. They're off. A level break, 4 slightly tardy actually. We're going to the first bend, 1, 6, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And there's not too much trouble considering the way they went into it. On the far side, 1 and 5 share the lead. It's Hope's Rhino on the inside of Untold Yen. And they've gone clear from Droopy's Ambush and Maglas Sid. Round the second last bend, and it's Hope's Rhino on the inside of Untold Ted. Back in third is Droopy's Ambush off the final bend. Hope's Rhino is pulling a clear now as they go to the line. Won the winner, 5 seconds, 6 third, 1, 5 and 6.
It is a 1-5-6 finish. Bit of a messy race around the first couple of bends, but Hope's Rhino, having that good inside pitch, really held his own going into the turn. Not the start that you wanted to see from Maglas Sid. Needed to get off to a flyer and just then hit a wall of trouble around that first bend there. Got squeezed out. It was quite messy, but Hope's Rhino, we said, David, he's a strong running dog. So once he hit the front, it didn't look like he was going to be in too much danger.
No, yeah, this is a dog who I thought had been threatening to run a big race during the Derby at a big price. Went quite deep, went quite well. I think the stiff 4 bends would suit rather than this sharper 480 at Monmore. But once getting daylight, would be a strong tracker here. This is a dog that was known as, is it Petersburg? One out, I think was bought out of the sales. I think I'm thinking of the right dog. But yeah, he's classy and he'd be a strong tracker over this sort of trip.
Certainly will. Result there for you. 10-1 was Hope's Rhino. Second, Track 5, Untold Yen at 7-1. And third, Droopy's Ambush. We have obviously got the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby going off round 3. So we're going to head back to Rob.
Right, we're coming up to our 6th heat, and Owen McKenna's got Jatara. Owen, heading into tonight, there's only 7 unbeaten dogs in the Derby, and so far Jatara's one of them.
We take qualifying now tonight. Yeah. He's very inexperienced. He's well drawn again now in 6, but it's a good race, and he needs a bit of luck now to qualify.
Yeah, you said he's inexperienced. Obviously, were you expecting him to do this well?
Here, he came in here now after running on race day in Cork. He's 4 races coming here. He got 1 race before the Derby, and it was against the Laddie Dan. It was a good hot race. Yeah. But then he's done well now. Last week now he ran the track a lot better. Yeah. He's running very wide, but here every run hopefully improve.
Yeah, and if he improves, all you want to do is qualify.
Nice bit of early, and if he qualifies, we'll be very happy.
Yeah. And is Peter enjoying it?
He's over the moon.
Yeah. Well, listen, the best of luck.
Cheers, thank you.
Certainly one to be keeping an eye on, Jatara out in Trap 6, but we're going to be showing you Scaglietti in Trap 1 last week, but was drawn Trap 3 on this occasion. So obviously more of a middle box here, Dave.
Yeah, this is an interesting race. Obviously, the likes of Ballymac Marino in here, who was back to winning ways last time, but... Now listen, if Scaglietti holds the pitch on the inside, moves really well down the back, it's going to be very, very hard to beat. 10 wins from 21 starts. I'm a big fan of undulation. I think she's got bags and bags of pace around the outside. I think she, off a level break, might struggle to clear Halo in 4. And I'm going to be boring and be with the top, but I'd like to see 5 go well. I think she's got plenty of pace. If 4's to miss it somehow, I think 5, the door will be open to 5 to run a big race. Right, I must catch up with emails. Alan Hart, did Kulevani take a bad step out the boxes? It's from Anna in Coventry. This one's from Keith. No bets tonight, just watching the greatest dogs at both venues. Just wanted to congratulate Shelbourne on the name of the Derby plate run last night being named after Michael Fortune. I suspect the next round will be on quarter-final night next weekend. Nice to have the new 2 6-bend traps back at Oxford. Nice to see new traps in readiness for opens tomorrow at Henlow. Nice to see a track that was looking like closure, getting decent open racing on Sunday night. A part of the week that needs good racing, I agree with that. Paul Stevenson with the Hoffer beating this evening at 1-6. Can we stop using the term a dead cert? I don't think that's been used on here tonight. I've never liked this word. We all know These wonderful animals are not machines. The same can be said for the use of the word penalty kick. We all know penalties can be missed. I'd much prefer to use the term a near certainty when you strongly fancy a dog or a racehorse to win. Kind regards, Paul. Well, Anna must have thought it was a certainty because she was telling me that you had Cullivan Hoffer in a treble.
Yeah, it was my last leg. I thought, like you say, you think it's a good thing, so chuck him in there. But yeah, it is what it is. It's greyhound racing for you. Was a good winner though in Bocco's Crystal. Any more?
Yeah, what have we got here? Gavin, what is with the flag wave at Monmore? Every single race he stands behind the traps as the hare approaches, has a laugh and a joke with his mates. Is it really so difficult to be quiet whilst the hare is running and maybe have this conversation between races? It probably makes no difference to the dog's exit, but it is possible this is a distraction to the dogs. But either way, it's not a good look for the watching punter. Every single race, great show from Gavin there, not happy. YI Man, David Lang says the dog got itself into trouble because it was devoid of pace to the first bend. There you go, stayed on strongly. Though John says 80% of greyhounds will run into a bend and 80% will run wide of a bend. That is the natural course. Hold on, I have to start this one after this race. It's a bit... So we'll come back to that one, John. We'll come back to that.
They're all in for heat number 6 of the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby. Here's Ian Fortune.
Heat 6 of the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby. 1 Scaglietti, 2 Drumbeg 10, 3 Ballymacmarino, 4 is Halo, 5 Undulation, and 6 is Jetara. The hare coming up behind traps. And racing, good start by Trap 1 Scaglietti. There goes Ballymacmarino up the middle into the corner. Scaglietti, Ballymacmarino back in third is 6 Jetara, but out front and Scaglietti and Ballymacmarino have it between them. 4 Halo in third, but out front still 1 Scaglietti just holding Ballymacmarino. 4 Halo and 5 Undulation, but on the third bend and Scaglietti by a length to 3 Ballymacmarino. Then comes Halo, 5 Undulation running on well, but Scaglietti will remain unbeaten. A brilliant performance. 3 Ballymacmarino running his heart out in second and 5 Undulation third. The winning time 29:27. 3 fast greyhounds progressing in the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby.
Certainly is. Scaglietti there, landing the spoils in 29:27. What a run. Ballymacmarino trying his best to match him stride for stride, but Scaglietti just proving that he had more ability on the day. And Undulation, you did say you liked this bitch, Dave, and she did manage to run on well for third.
Yeah, she's run a corker really to qualify. The big two in 1 and 3 have had the set 2 down the back. Scaglietti, which is I think is a Ferrari, clad in red and is unbeaten, goes marching on from Ballymacmarino, who looks a far better animal than the dog we saw at Toaster, and he served it up to Pat Guilford's inside tracker there, but has done it ever so well. Yeah, and you're quite right, Anna. I thought 5 has run a hell of a race there. She's stayed on powerfully. Yes,
does stay on strongly over this trip. Hopefully to see a little bit of a better break and get a clear run next week. But all 3 through to next weekend. Now we're off for a quick break, and then we've got the next up at Monmore.
I can look at 12 horses and the form all at once. Come on. The app is my paddock.
Once the race starts, we don't bother with cheers in our house.
When the race is on, I try to remain calm.
If it's possible to love a four-legged beast and a wee tiny man sitting on top of you, then I love you!
Boost your racing odds at ladbrokes.com.
Betfred presents Check out our exclusive offers every day. Play in-store and online with Betfred.
Welcome back to RPGTV. We just wrapped up the result there for the last at Shelbourne first. Obviously in Trap 1, the 8-13 favourite Scaglietti. Second, Ballymat Marino at 7-2. And third, Undulation at 8-1. Forecast paid £3.45, Tricast £8.44. Let's have a quick look at the Trap Challenge. Red Jacket still leading the way with 6 wins now. Trap 4 with 4, 3 still on 2, and 2, 5 and 6 still all on 1 apiece. Now I know we've got a couple of emails to get through, have we, Dave?
Yeah, got one here from Paul Gebhard regarding the going at Monmore. Tonight's trial's given -10 for the 480, -15 for the 630. Of a young grade on the card at Monmore in recent weeks, the track has quickened up for the racing that's taken place after trials. Nowadays, I only live about half an hour away in Shropshire. It does feel dry and actually quite humid tonight, so maybe the opposite has happened as the track has slowed down. All the best, Paul.
Brilliant, great to hear. Thank you for that, Paul. Now we're going to quickly head back to Rob over at Shelbourne.
Right, 2 more heats of the Boylesports Irish Derby. 3 runners already for Graham Holland, and Graham, you've got 3 more to come. And I suppose the one everyone's been talking about of yours is Clona Duke. How is he?
He's in great form. Bit of a tricky draw. The 3 dog wants the rail big time, but so he needs to come away right. But he's very strong dog. Likes it his own way. If you know what I mean, will push himself around a bit. So qualify or do. We're just hoping to qualify this time. Really, it'd be lovely if he won, but in the first 3 it'd be great.
Yeah. Revelation, obviously, all the way up until the English Derby final. How has he been the last number of weeks?
He's kept his form very well because obviously it was a hard campaign over there, and he's been running quite well. He ran very well last week. He had the track well and he pushed his way through. So, yeah, he's kept his form very well.
Yeah, you're obviously just hoping to qualify and wins a bonus.
Yeah. I think that's you could say that about most people tonight.
Okay, now you have 2 chances in our final heat, Romeo Magico and Clonbray Treaty. Let's talk about Magico because he's just creeping under the radar like he does.
Yeah, look, it is the first time he's really got a nice draw in this derby. So, look, it's only a couple of rounds gone, but he is very well drawn in there. You'd like to see him qualify. He's coming up 4 years old, so he's a great dog to train. He loves his racing. So, look, we'll keep on plugging away, and I do think he should really qualify from the way he's drawn.
Yeah. And Clonbrine Treaty, he's slowly getting there, and there's a night he's going to flash out, and tonight could be the night.
Yeah, look, I've had a little bit of problems with his tonsils and things like that, and I was really pleased the way he ran last week, and we've had a real good week with him. Yeah. So, he's out in 6.
The 5 dog doesn't run now.
5 dog doesn't run. Everyone's a bit of a help because you'd like to see him start to break because. He will need to start breaking very shortly,
Okay, and then after the Derby, you got Balnakill Alpha in a good race.
Yeah. Look, the 6 is very good. That was very unlucky in.
Pat's dog.
Yeah, Pat Buckley's dog out in 6. That was very unlucky in Dundalk last week. It didn't break and got crowded. It was going very well before that, but the Balnakill Elf dog has had 2 races at Dundalk and ran very well. So it looks like a bit of a match between them, but you never really know. Elf hasn't had a race around here. I don't know if Pat's has, but you'd probably do the forecast, reverse it.
Okay. Well, we wish you luck in the races coming up.
Thank you very much. Good man.
Graham Holland there, who has Clona Duke in the next over at Shelbourne, but we have heat 4 of the Ladbrokes Summer Stayers back at Monmore, the 9:02, and I'm with you, Dave. I know you're sweet on distant Emma, and I can understand why.
Yeah, she's all class. I like that she's produced the goods in a trial stake last week, and I think she can do the business again here. Cachise was in opposition in Trap 2, led round. She's in the white jacket of Trap 3, gets in the slipstream, and she's all class. She's all power. I think she stays on in this trip well, and 3 Steps to Victory winner. I think has got a nice makeup here. Kunov Crow. Wouldn't be the quickest into stride. It just had the feeling of a race in which Distant Emma can just trap out, and very similar to the VT, the race replay that we're looking at here, just go around in a pitch. You know, as they hit the winning line the first time, I think she can be handy, and then you can just see how well she steers out the trip. The form's been franked. I mean, at this top level, we know the dogs are decent anyway, but Cachice run well earlier on. I thought Queen Pink was an interesting one. She's got that inside line. She's got form over further. If she was to crack out, it could be race on, but she's not been at her very best of late, but she was the danger for me. Droopy's by a mile's a capable sort, but he's a dog that I've never ever got right. But he's another one that could flash out and go well at a bit of a price, but clean run race, I think it's difficult to make a case against Distant Emma here, because I think she just goes around clean and it proves too strong coming home. And the fly in the ointment, the interesting one, I'm not sure going to be able to reverse the form from last week, is of course Derby finalist Ninja Kerry.
I know, this is he's a dog that always seems to get a little bit overlooked, doesn't he? He's obviously the outsider for the Derby, but won the Sussex Cup. Very strong running sort. Always does tend to get these wider boxes when he's got the middle seed on. But yeah, Distant Emma for me as well, obviously well enough out of the season. She's really back to her best. Obviously, like you say, 3 steps winner Oaks, Eclipse finalist. And to say she's taken to Monmore would just be a slight understatement. I mean, she's had 5 open attempts over this course and distance, 3 wins and a couple of seconds. My only doubt would be a draw a little bit. I mean, she's never really been out this far at Monmore, but she's clever. She moves where the spaces are. Obviously, Kuno Crow in trap 3 prefers the rails. She's going to be edging left. Another classy sort, Grand Prix winner, obviously Golden Jacket finalist, but
that's the one dog I wouldn't want to see lead round, because I think Distant Emma might struggle to fetch her in.
That's the thing.
Crow.
But I think she's going to end up trying to run a race, cutting into that rail, isn't she? I say Queen Pink, very classy sort. She's obviously made a couple of Cat 1 finals.
She's trappy.
Yeah. I mean, she's only raced at Monmore on 4 occasions. She's had 2 wins, a second and a fifth, and that 5th was last week when she missed a break, but she is capable of doing a 37.80 over this course and distance. And I say Droopy's by a mile in trap 1.
It's fair to say the McNair team are in good form tonight as well.
They are. They certainly are. A bit of money for Eileen's Daisy in trap 5 for Gary
Griffiths. I had a good look at Gary Griffiths' charge. Very lightly raced on these shores. Won a 480 in decent enough time. It was a bit of a muddling affair. Swooped late to score in a race that had plenty of front runners in it. That was a graded race, top grade, but wasn't beaten too far behind Droopy's Google last week, and is obviously open to improvement as well, and shown enough urgency over the 4 bends in the qualifying trials to suggest that could go round in front. So yeah, falls in the category of could be anything, that one.
Yeah, we'll be looking to improve on last week, but still did that 37.96. Not too shabby for a first attempt over the 6:30, but they're all in for heat number 4 of the Ladbrokes Summer Stays Classic. Let's go over to Keith.
Race 10, the 902, the Ladbrokes Summer Stays Classic 2023, Heat 4, hares into the back straight. They're off. A level break and into the first bend. 6 and 1 come round in front from 3 and 5. Then comes 4 and 2 into the home straight, and it's 6 Ninja Kerry leading 5 Eileen's Daisy. Then comes 1, 3, 4 and 2 going to the 4th bend, and Eileen's Daisy's gone on now from Ninja Kerry, little in it. Then comes Droopy's by a mile, who's joined by Kunoff Crow. Then comes Distant Emma and the back marker Queen Pink. Between the last 2 banks, 6 lots his hind legs there, and Kunoff Crow's been left in front with a good margin as they go to the line. 3 the winner, 1 second, 4 sit on for third, 3, 1 and 4.
And it looks like a 3-1-4 finish. Kuno Crow absolutely storming home. We know this bitch stays. She's got Cat 1 success already under her belt, and it was just seeing what was going to happen going around this first bend. A little bit of trouble there. Ninja Kerry obviously getting a good run on the outside. Eileen's Daisy put a good run in as well, sort of in the middle stages, but Kuno Crow in trap 3 is absolutely blitzed up, Dave.
It was a messy race, wasn't it, really? Anyone who's backed Kuno Crow, I hope your bookmaker's still offering best odds guaranteed, because I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you see what price she's returned there, because I think I saw 11-2 last show, which, you know, given what price she opened up, was a hell of a walk in the market. But yeah, it was very messy. It's going to be a slow time, but she sees out the trip well, and she's powered home once clear there. Droopy's by miles in the hat, as is the favourite Dista Emma there, who's battled really, really hard to bag that third place. But yep, I think put a line through that form, and we move on. It was a very messy race, but she's certainly gained the Kuno Crow bitch there.
Certainly was. It's through to next week's semi. Now we have heat number 7 of the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby. Obviously, we're talking to Graham Holland earlier on, who has Clona due, but one we're going to show you is the other Kobe, running back on the 28th of July, the first round of the Derby here, Dave.
Yeah, 29.58, beating Burj Khalifa, and a dog that when he puts it all together is a real handful. You can see he runs a lovely second bend, tight to the rail. Be looking to get across both Clona Duke and Ballyhimmock and Rex early here, and this was a horrible, horrible race trying to piece together. They're all going to be bombing into the turn. I wasn't sold on Clona Duke. I didn't think it was a given that he would make the bend unscathed here. I thought there was loads and loads of speed on. I'd love to see 6 go well for Alison Banderak, who runs the Wolverhampton branch of Retired Grounds. Lovely, lovely people, and put a lot into the retirement game, rehoming game there. And yeah, she was, when I spoke to Alison, she was very keen to point out that it was her name on the race card. So yeah, best of luck to those guys up in Wolverhampton. No doubt they'll be watching and cheering home the stripes here, but I thought this was a tricky enough race. I sided with one, Ballyhimmock and Rex, just purely on the draw, but it wasn't a race I liked. So it has to be said that I think the inside is the place to be at Shelbourne Park tonight. I know I'm not making excuses for Kullervenhofer getting beat, but the dogs on the inside have definitely had the best of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, certainly looks that way. John on Twitter as well agrees. He says the wides look very disadvantaged tonight at Shelbourne. Could then play to Rye Hope Beach's hands. I mean, you've got Germana Dano and Rye Hope Beach that they met last week. Obviously, they go again from the same draw. I thought Germana Dano ran so well in defeat behind Sober Glory, and Rye Hope Beach did extremely well to manage to get up to qualify after finding all that trouble at the first bend. So fingers crossed for a little bit more of a smoother run around for them. Clona Duke just drifting slightly out to 2-1. I thought he looked, on his run last week, the way that he confidently charged around the first bend, I'm just hoping he can repeat that tonight, because I think it is going to be a case of them all going into it together. I mean, you've got Ballyhimmock and Rex ran a huge race last week behind Scaglietti. Obviously, that form's been franked. He's got a great draw on the inside, and he's one of those sort of dogs that just puts everything into a performance. Well met in trap 4, plenty of early pace, was full of running last week, did 17.12 to the third bend, but did have obviously Bobsleigh Dream behind him. He did rally again when she took charge, didn't really let her get too far away from him as well. It was a great little running defeat, I thought, and he's got every chance of leading these up, I thought, if he puts his best foot forward. Got any emails?
Yeah, here we go. Ian Tungett's been back on. Says, David, I don't think you got what I was on about Bocco's Crystal's only 14 weeks out of season, because you didn't mention Bocco's Crystal. Very good when only 14 weeks out of season to be in the Derby. So to win a heat is a good performance. She can only come on. Look at her sectional she can pop out and make anyone in the Derby go. She still has a couple of weeks till she's spot on, and Graham, the Wizard, has her. So it could be, as I said, the dark horse. When she faded, I think it might have been a bit of milk. A good show. Keep it up. I did have a message as well from Bev Lockhead, the owner. What a fantastic run. Congratulations to Lenson Bocco too, with his son Da doing the business. So there you go.
Congratulations.
Champion
all
at stud as well as a Derby champion.
Very much so, but they're all in for heat number 7 of the Irish Greyhound Derby. Let's go over to Ian.
Well, there is the bell, the runners. In 1, Ballyhimmock and Rex. 2, Clonagh in 3, the other Colby. 4, Well Met. 5, Dramana Dano. And 6, Right Hope Beach. The hair up behind Traps. Racing, good start by 3, the other Colby. 4, Well Met going up well also. It's Well Met and the other Colby onto the corner, the other Colby and Well Met. It's Well Met takes the bend. Now 2, Clonagh in his slipstream into the back straight. Well Met, 2, Clonagh in 3. The other Colby charging up the inside, but still 3, Well Met to the third bend. The other Colby, can he get through? No, he can't. Clonagh comes back for more in second, but it's Well Met off the final turn from 2, Clonagh. The other Colby, Well Met to the line will score. Well Met does it. Second is 3, the other Colby, and 5, Dramana Dano may have grabbed third. It's tight for third spot. Clonagh in the spot of bother perhaps. The winning time 29.62.
It certainly looks that way. It did look like Dramana Dano did manage to get up for third, but we will wait to get confirmation. Well Met, usual burst of early pace from this greyhound. The other Kobe as well going up alongside Clonagh. We both thought this, Dave, going into that first bend, the pace round it.
Late early pace.
Yeah.
Incredible from 2. I think it's just missed out there. But Well Met for owner-trainer John Jones. This son of Ballymat Best going from the front here. The other Kobe a little bit unlucky. Just short of racing room into that third turn before driving across and taking that rail away from 3, digging deep. And I thought, yeah, Dramana Dano was just nailed Clonagh on the line, I thought, for third place there. I leave that officially to the judge. It's not my job to eliminate greyhounds from the Irish Derby, I know that much.
Definitely Well Met, though. There is a good winner there.
I finished third there. Been known to get a photo finish wrong once or twice.
Does look that way. There you go, 20-1 as well. But it is Well Met. There was your 5-1 winner. Second was the other Kobe at 4-1, and third Dramana Dano 20-1. Forecast £29.97. Tricast £178.14. Well done if you managed to find that. Couple of tweets as well to get through. Got one from Bill Easton. Glad to have you with us, Bill. Says, great show as always. Give Dave a shake, please. I emailed in about the going at Monmore. The postman broke 38 seconds and Lince Maverick broke 28.
I read that out. And I said...
We did say it.
Fast dogs will do fast times, but I still think it's on the slow side. What do you think, Anna?
No, I agree. I think obviously there's been some great performances. We have seen that in some of the times, but there was a few races where I think I was expecting a little bit more. Especially, I think it was the second Gold Cup heat where we had March on Larry did 28.69. I thought was just looked like it was going to be a little bit of a quicker run, but we'll see what the official going is later on. Right, we've now got a little bit more from Rob over at Shelbourne.
Right, well, we're looking forward to our final Derby third round heat of the night, and we're with Declan McDonough of the Hanover Phantom team. Dec, second in the Corn Cuchulainn, and now you find yourself in the third round of the Derby.
Another round now, and we'll be happy.
How is he?
Look, we kept him on the easy list since the Corn Cuchulainn final, so we're happy with him. Very happy with him this week.
Yeah, 2 good runs the last 2 weeks. You know, keep doing that, and you've a big chance of progressing.
You have, if he can. He's missing that yard of early. If we could get a run up the rail tonight and hopefully for third.
And what are your thoughts on the race itself?
Look at you've Clanbrine Treaty in 6, like he's a super hound. Yeah. Droopy's got it in 5. They're going to go up well, like. Romeo on 1, like it is a good heat. Like
Obviously, yeah, you got great fun out of Fast with Paddy, not in the Derby, but overall it'd be nice to get a couple of other nights in the Derby with this lad.
It would be. He deserves another night or two in the Derby. He does deserve it because he's a fast hound.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
Well, we're all rooting for you.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Next up, we have heat number 5 of the Ladbrokes Summer Stayers Classic, where obviously we have last year's winner in Warzone Tom in Trap 4, looking to keep his hands on the trophy for the second year. 16-1 in the outright betting. I thought this looked quite an easy heat for him, to be honest. Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, he'll need to do it right in the boxes, but that is Warzone Tom, really, in a nutshell anyway, isn't it? There's a little bit of speed around. 59's got pace, although I think it's a dog that is a little bit quirky and quite happy to wait around once hitting the front. Lightfoot Falcon has been running really well in good company, showing plenty of speed. I thought Ballymac Archer ran a big racing defeat behind Derby's Delight at Nottingham last time. This is an effort over course and distance back on the 15th of July. An interesting dog. I mean, if he ever put it together out of the boxes, the dog's got loads and loads of pace. He's a son of Old Chury, so the stamina is certainly there. He kind of just flops out the boxes and then relies on tracking a way through, and then doesn't really see out these 6-bend trips hard. So he's always a dog that's going to be tricky to place in a race, you know, if they kind of show the middle and don't really get home. But he's got ability, there's no two ways about that. 7 wins from 20 starts, and you know, if he was to find a start, I think he could go well, and he would be my danger. But I'm going to be with Warzone Tom, defending champion. I mean, he's a short head behind Havana Lover in a 480 trial. She's come out and done the business. His sprint clocks are okay for a stayer, 16:43, 16:46. And we know that, you know, despite him being classy and a big race winner, that he is a dog that is not the most consistent and would appreciate being switched around. So perhaps him being fresh and coming back and having his first race since July might be the time to catch him. So I'm not surprised to see that there's plenty of money for him. But he'd have to go some to lead up 59. But as I've already said, I'm not sure 59's the most genuine sort. Gully the Judge. Gully the Judge's lay of the evening is Warzone Tom. Lay it. Can I say a big thank you to our trainer, Jason Smith, for looking after our bitch. Speak Out Ada won't be long until she's in season. Nice to see the lovely Annalise on the show.
Oh, he'll do for me.
Not pleased to see me though.
No, definitely not.
Fine. It's like Warzone Tom wins half the track now. Give us some reason though. Don't just say why is a lay. Right. Hi Dave and Anna. Great racing tonight. Here's a question for Anna to rack her brains. I've got to say, I'm going to be really disappointed in you if you don't get this right. Okay?
Pressure's on already. Go on.
Okay. I feel like you should be getting this right. With being an ex-trainer, can Anna name her first ever winner and her last ever winner? Best wishes, Kevin. Oh, you're in trouble already.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
Out the ground already. Kevin.
Do you know what? Shame on me. I have got.
When you had that last winner, you knew you was knocking it on the head.
No.
You didn't.
No.
Right, I can forgive you a little bit then. But you still should know really for me.
The first one, because I should know as well, because one of
if you're going to get this wrong, someone out there's going to find it and prove you
There's a picture of me on the Nottingham podium with 2 of my owners that sponsored, like sort of brought out a bottle of champagne as well. So when I had my first...
We want the names of the dogs, come on.
Trying to drag it out. I will find out. I've got it on my Facebook somewhere.
You've let me
down.
That was
many years ago, though.
But that
many years
special winner, my first winner on the lead. You can't even remember.
I can't even remember.
The poor owner out there of that dog as well.
Yeah, I was the owner actually.
Yeah, right, okay. That makes it even worse. Someone let Anna know.
If you could.
The highlights of her training career.
Oh, shocking behaviour, really.
How long has it been now since you knocked it on the head?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years now. Time flies. I do miss the Greyhounds, but when you see it raining on parade, do not miss that. They're all going in now for heat number 5. Last year's winner, Warzone Tom, in trap 4 is your 5 to 6 favourite. Droopy Soldier, just the last one to go in there. Plenty of pace in this. Hair's on its way.
Race 11, the 918, the Ladbrokes Summer Stayers Classic 2023 Heat 5. Here's into the back straight. They're off. 6 was slow to stride. 2 and 4 broke well. 5's right there. Then comes 1, 3 and 6. Coming to the second bend, and Warzone Tom out in front, serving it up to Lightfoot Falcon. Then comes 59 and Ballymark Archer. And at the back is Droopy Soldier, the one dog. And last is a Pelka. Half it on the back for the final time, and it's Warzone Tom, still 4 or 5 lengths clear from Lightfoot Falcon in second, and then comes staying on into third is Ballymac Archer. They're on the run in now, and it's 4 going to win by about 2.5. 5 just held from 6 in a photo for second.
Well, Warzone Tom there, obviously looking to firmly keep his paws on his trophy from last year, and broke level with them, but showed a lot of confidence going around the first couple of bends. And once he got on the bunny, he knew it was his for the taking. But I know there's trap 6 that you want to give a bit of a mention to, Dave.
Yeah, just taken off again. Ballymac Archer, if the dog ever put the trapping boots on, it'd be a right handful. Showed all sorts of pace. But yeah, Warzone Tom, the defending champion, is back. And back in style, made that bend his own, and we know how classy he is, a strong running sort in that daylight, and he's just strode out nicely there. Wonderful, wonderful performance. And well done to Liz and Rab McNair. You know, a number of their dogs been off the card, in particular Warzone Tom and Havana Lover, and have come back like they've never been away. Absolutely brilliant. So fantastic effort from those guys to get their dogs back. August 19, Warzone Tom, 68th start, 33rd win. What a dog he's been and is proving to be as well. He's tight for second, maybe just 5 over 6, but Ballymac Archer, you wouldn't mind having that one on the end of the lead. I'm telling you, he can certainly run.
One to certainly keep an eye on. All through to next week's semis. Now it's heat number 8 for the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby, where we obviously have trap 4 a vacant box with Droopy's got it. It's now a non-runner, and Clonbrien Treaty in trap 6, 5 to 6 favourite, and it's actually one that we can have a look at. Actually running last week in the second round, and this was a stunning performance. I mean, his pace, Dave, is pretty scary to watch.
Yeah, this I was on the show actually when he won. I think it was the 8th of July. It might have been absolutely sensational. Dog's ripped to the bend, and he's set for a clear passage again out wide here. Droopy's nice one, all providing plenty of room out wide. In 5, he's just a little bit hit and miss at the boxes. There's nothing in between. But when he's good, he's as good as there is. You know, he's already picked up big competition, the prestigious and lucrative Kirby Memorial at Limerick, and if it's one of them, you know, you're either with him or you're against him, and if you're with him, you need him to start, and if you're against him and he doesn't start, you're weighed in. So Lottrell West on the start here. Romeo Magico starting to just show a little bit of his old sparkle. I thought in behind Clona Duke last time. Really, really nice draw up on the fence here, but I don't know, it goes against everything I'm about, really. Short price is about sort of dogs that are a little bit hit and miss, but he's so good, Clonbrien Treaty. I've got to be with him. Yeah,
I'm with you. I think that even when he does leave a length or two out the boxes, once he starts motoring, I don't think anything can really match him going up to that first bend. I mean, he keeps a true wide course. It can avoid any possible trouble on his inside, and he's still quite a young dog. He's only just turned 2, and he's still coming forward. If he does trap, it is game over, because when he's on the bunny, he is certainly not for catching. So I think he'll justify his short 10 to 11 odds. Got Droopy's a nice one, 11-4 in trap 5. I mean, last year's Derby finalist as well. I do like her in trap 5. She's strong on the straights, but she does tend to take the last bend a little bit wide and could give too much away there. Romeo Magico, though, you say, Dave, bit of support for him. Obviously, I thought he did seem to sort of show that little bit of sparkle, didn't he? He ran on very well, I thought, last week to manage to pick up Deadly Showtime to qualify. We know Deadly Showtime stays as well. So he's one that could find a little bit more tonight.
He's tucked away on the inside, yeah. I mean, it was available at bigger prices. Romeo Magico, obviously, with the withdrawal of 4. Droopy's got it. All bets revert to SP, unfortunately, but the money continues to come.
They're all in. Let's head over to Ian.
Of the Boylesports Irish Greyhound Derby, 1 Romeo Magico, 2 365 in 3 Hanover Phantom, 5 Droopy's Nice One, and 6 the Kirby Memorial Champion favourite Clonbrine Treaty. Hair up behind traps. Off and a good start by trap 5 Droopy's Nice One. 6 Clonbrine Treaty now gets loose up the inside. 1 Romeo Magico, but Clonbrine Treaty will take the corner from in second. 5 Droopy's Nice One, Romeo Magico, Hanover Phantom and 365, but up front in Clonbrine Treaty is on by 2 lengths. 2 in second. 5 Droopy's Nice One running a big race. Then comes 1 Romeo Magico, but it's Clonbrine Treaty going to lead him into the straight. 5 Droopy's Nice One staying wide. It's Clonbrine Treaty all out to the line. Droopy's Nice One gets there from 6 Clonbrine Treaty, and 365 coming from out of the clouds. But Droopy's Nice One, a finalist last year, she's a quarter finalist this year in 29.64.
Is Droopy's Nice One that, to be honest, I thought with how wide she took that last bend, she was going to have far too much to do, but she's absolutely chucked herself down that home straight. I mean, Clonbrine Treaty showing that pace into the first bend. Romeo Magico also getting a little bit of a second win going into the penultimate turn. But to be honest, no excuses for Clonbrine Treaty. Droopy's Nice One has just been far stronger up to the finish line.
Yeah, a little bit flat-footed from the boxes, but showed all of his pace, didn't he, Clonbrine Treaty? A really good run from Droopy's Nice One. I didn't see what finished third there. I was looking at the dog round the outside. Whether
trap 2.
Yeah, I thought Ian
365.
Yeah.
Oh, the name of the greyhound 365. You might have heard. I thought he was. It did sound like he was saying 365, but yeah.
Poor old Romeo Magico gone.
562. 365 finishing third. A bit of a tongue twister for you there, but yes, was obviously Droopy's Nice One. Now obviously you've got the next over at Monmore. We've just seen Warzone Tom take the 4th heat, and they've got Havana Top Note running in this. Going to be 5 out of 5 for them. We'll find out. What are you with in this one, Dave?
Got to be with the bitch on the inside here. Havana Top Note. Really. Sorry, the dog on the inside here. Really powerful tracker. I've not got Friday's Eskiers much of a railer. I think there's going to be plenty of racing room up the inside. I was really impressed by Saleka's Smasher last time, and a dog that could go from the front. That's the fly in the ointment for me there. I was thinking as long as one gets first run on 4, that will be that. But if 4 starts, the manner in which he stayed on last week, I think it'd be really hard to fetch in. So short run to the turn will suit Havana Top Note here, and I think the draw can just sway it in his favour. Yeah,
I'm with you as well. I mean, obviously he ran a great race last week to just be chinned on the line by low pressure. Obviously he's got that inside advantage, and if he can repeat last week's sectional at 12.50, I don't really see anything else going up with him, to be honest. I think he'll even come on from last week's performance. Would like to give a mention to Saleka's Smasher, though, in trap 4. And a really interesting greyhound for Peter Harnden and Lee Pittman, part owner as well. He was, when he first came onto the scene at Tosa, I thought he looked a really exciting dog. He was staying on strongly, plenty of stamina, but was just a bit clumsy earlier on in his career, as you would expect with the younger dogs. And when he puts it together, he he just has pace to burn, and I think he could be quite an interesting one. I think we can actually show you last week's performance from Trap 5. It was supported as well into 2-1, and as you can see, Davey, he tends to lack that yard of early a lot of the time, but to see where he comes from here is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I watched him. I was at Toast on the 24th of June when he fronted off in a 7-12, and he was scrambling over the line, really. Now, you know, granted that the 6:30 is a softer 6 bends, I thought this was a good effort to come from last to first in what was a fair race as well. So, yeah, as I say, if he can put it together out of the boxes, I thought you know, as much as I'm putting up 1, if 4 leads, it'd be race over. You know, but it's that short run to the turn. Havana Top Note can just be level and turn left, and then, you know, he's going to be really, really hard to beat. So, yeah, it didn't take much finding, and the market suggests, you know, is a good thing. I think as I say, the draw is massive here. You know, if you swapped 1 and 2 around, I'd probably be taking a chance with 4 open for a start. But
yeah,
given the draw, I thought it looks like one will just go round here. Phil James, not sure about this one, Phil. He says, my dream, Lady Bobsleigh dream still flying. 40-1 Anthony Post. However, after watching all the races tonight, I have my doubts. Must keep the faith. Phil, get in touch. Whatever you've had at 40-1, I'll buy off you for the stake if you're doubting, because I think you've had a great bet there. Don't you worry. So yeah, she's still flying. Don't worry about that. Right, what else have we got here?
I've got a quick one as well. A tweet from Ian Simpson, who sent in a treble. Obviously had Bobsleigh Dream
in,
Dilardida
in,
and then was just waiting for Clona Duke.
Okay.
£20 stake would have returned £428. Oh, my heart breaks for you, Ian. Fingers crossed you have a bit more luck next week.
Right, we'll go back to this one. John Atherton. 80% of greyhounds will row into a bend, and 80% will run middle to wide of a bend. That is the natural course. What is a railer? What is a wide? I was always told where a greyhound goes from the boxes. Always agreed with Rab Seeding, and once again he's proven correct. Keep up the great work. Love your opinions, true and honest, how it should be, from John. I think in roundabout the way, what I was kind of trying to say is that talking about Havana Bailout is that it's so tricky because they're on top of the bend. Like I would, again, a seeding would always be run to the turn for me. Well, there isn't one in the 6:30, and if you watched her run at Hove, diving inside out of 4 or 5 or whatever she was in, you'd go, yeah, I can see what they're getting at there, going round. So, I don't know.
I think you do have to, I know we touched on it earlier about the shorter run to that bend as well. You would be more biased to be seeding your dogs closer to the rail. You've not really got any room for any error. If you're out wide, how many times have we seen tonight the wider dogs getting into a spot of bother, just trying to get around that first bend? So you can understand the logic, and obviously dogs run different tracks, completely different. Yeah, it'd just be interesting to see on the seeding what they're drawn next week, which the draws are going to be done on Monday at the GBGB offices.
Wow, once upon a time you'd say, oh, this top thing here could be McNair liabilities racking up, and the off-course bookmakers have sent money down to the on-course lads to shorten up the price, liabilities racking up, but it can only be a move on Betfair. 5-6 into 8-15.
Wow, he's having a cracking night. They've all been running on merit. Havana Top Note looking like he can do the business as well. Friday's Esque for Ian Langford, still lightly raced. On the drift though from 6 out to 9s. Money coming, just keeps pouring on for Havana Top Note. Little bit of support for Link's Top Gun.
It'd still have to be a fair move, that, you know, 5-6 to 8-15, even in an open race.
Shorten it that much. The last one's going in for heat number 6, our last race at Monmore. Starters happy, let's hand you to Keith.
Race 12, the 932, the Ladbrokes Summer Stayers Classic 2023 Heat 6. Here's well on its way to the traps. They're off. 6, 5 and 2 got the best of the break, and as they come between the first two bends, it's 6 but only just from 2, and 1's closing up. Then comes 3, 5, and at the halfway up the run in for the first time, it's 2, 6 and 1 chased by 3. Then comes 5 and 4. Very competitive this as they go to the fourth bend. Friday's-esque now going a length and a half clear from Ted's Dexter. Then comes Link's Top Gun and Havana Top Note. They're clear of 5 and 4. Round the second last bend, it's Friday's X opening up now with a 2-length lead from Ted's Dexter, and they're going clear of Havana Top Note and Link's Top Gun. Off the final bend, Friday's X with Ted's Dexter running on well enough, but can't bridge the gap. To the winner, 6 second, 1/3, 2, 6 and 1.
It's Friday's-esque that lands the spoils in. Havana Top Note doing well there to get up to qualify after not getting off to the best as starts. It was the blue jacket of Friday's-esque that got that first run on the bend. Ted's Dexter as well for Trinity Greyhounds, and Nathan Hunt ran a good run in defeat, but Friday's-esque just kept finding that little bit more, Dave.
Yeah, maybe they should seed Havana Top Note wide because he's gone out the second bend, eh? But Friday's-esque was out in front, got the start on the inside there, and yeah, as you say, Havana Top Note switched out wide, just looking for that racing room. Ted Dexter's giving chase, but the Reds run well to qualify, but well done to connections there. Ian Langford, the trainer, Friday's-esque. Lightly raced Salt, only 7 starts coming into this with a win and a second behind Ted Dexter. Last time in a bit of a messy affair, has been able to reverse that form.
Certainly has, and looks like was more than happy to draw that closer to the rail in trap 2 compared to last week's trap 3. But it's a good winner nonetheless for Ian Langford. Now we're heading quickly back to Rob over at Shelbourne.
Well, the Derby action might be over for tonight, but we've still got 2 more races live on RPGTV, and that includes the 9th race, and we're with Liam O'Rourke. Liam, you've got Stewie Griffin in our upcoming 9th.
Yes, he took a big jump forward last Thursday week. He's up in grade. Do I expect him to win? No, but I'd like to see him run well in this company, see how he figures out on a Saturday night racing. The dog is in good form. I've no complaints with the dog at all later. Just hope he runs well. That's the hope for the, you know.
And as you said, he's won his last 2, and he's improving nicely.
And he's a nice bit of early. He's not the strongest home, but he has a nice bit of early, and hopefully he runs well. That's all I'm looking forward to see him running well.
Yeah, a good draw.
Draw's perfect. Yeah. Couldn't be better. Like, he's had to win these 2 previous races out of 4. I thought he'd never going to leave trap 4, but he actually got trap 2 tonight. But it's a big jump up in class from tonight.
Well, let's hope he completes the hat-trick.
Please God, hopefully he comes off safe. That's all. Yeah, thank you.
Good luck to all involved in this. I mean, there's pace everywhere you look in this 9:38. They're all young, they're lightly raced, some very nice improving sorts in this. But my next best is going to be Road Exile in trap 6. I thought was a good price earlier on at 6-4. I was expecting a lot shorter, so it very quickly took a nibble of that. I mean, for me, he just looks a class above these, in my opinion. He was brilliantly recently in the Irish Sprint Cup. Unfortunately, was knocked out last week in the semis after a lot of trouble, but we can actually show you his 3rd round in the Irish Sprint Cup here, Dave. And this is, for me, he's just such a classy sort for his age as well.
Yeah, do you know, when this dog first started racing, I was trying to find out a little bit more about him, because he's a half brother to Ivan Exile, with an eye to maybe trying to buy him, but the trail went a little bit cold, and it wasn't to be. But 9 wins from 14 starts. Mr. Colwell has been in touch with the show. I think he's a guy that owns plenty of dogs with the Nevin kennel over here as well at Oxford. This is a really, really pacey sort, and I couldn't be against him here around the outside. He's got bags of pace. I think could get off the front.
Fingers crossed. I mean, he won his opening heat in the Conor Annie Kirby at Limerick. He was staying on well over the same trip as tonight. So obviously, he has got that middle seed, but I think the draw's going to work well in his favour with the 5 Raylers on his inside. But look, good luck to all involved in this. Some exciting looking youngsters. Let's hand you over to Ian.
There is the bell. The runners for this 9th race. In 1, Seek the Kingdom. 2, Stewie Griffin. 3, Role Model. 4 is Court of Spiral. 5, Balnakill Alpha. And 6 is Road Exile. Hair up behind Traps. And racing, good start by 3 in the middle. Role Model shot from boxes. Now 5. Balnakill Alf shown great speed to challenge. Back in 3rd is 6 Road Exile and 1 Seek the Kingdom. But Balnakill Alf, a dog that showed immense promise early in his career, leads down the back straight from 3. Role Model 1. Seek the Kingdom next and 6 Road Exile. But it's 5. Balnakill Alf leads around the bottom 2 bends. And Balnakill Alf will win on Shelbourne debut, it seems. Balnakill Alf wins in fine style. 2nd is 3 Role Model. 1 is 3rd. Seek the Kingdom. The winning time 28:30. Big run by Balnakill Alf.
Certainly is. 28:30 is not hanging about for Graham Holland. He has got the quickest time on the card, but there wasn't really a lot between them going into the first bend, but did help with Role Model just stepping out. Balnakill Alf seeing that opening on the inside and very cleverly took it, Dave.
Yeah, this was a nice performance, wasn't it? Looks a really, really nice type for the Pillar Syndicate and Graham Holland there. Win number 4, 8th start. Quickly put space between himself and rivals down the back. This son of Pestana. So great stuff. Very impressive.
Yes, certainly was. Nice looking youngster. A lot to take away from a few of those in the race. Role Model certainly coming forward as well, only having her 7th start. But a lot of promise to be had. Now we're off for a quick break, and on return we're going to be heading back to Robert Shelbourne.
Want betting on the horses that leads from the front? You're on. With live streaming of racing 24/7 from around the globe. And daily offers, including extra places, 3 uni boosts a day, and our best odds guaranteed. You're on. Plus today, get money back as cash if your horse finishes 2nd or 3rd on selected races. Unibet, you're on.
And here's today's favourite, number 4, First to Feel Rain. And you can see why, Gina.
He hasn't got the most attractive head, but he has an impressive turn of foot for his size.
He must be 20 hands at least. He has moved stables a lot.
Just loves the big occasion.
Feature at stud, Gina?
Not sure, Matt. Unlikely to be wanted for breeding. Worthy favourite, Matt?
Definitely the favourite, Gina.
Don't feel like a punter, feel like a favourite with great offers on the Paddy Power app.
The final stop of these championships.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary.
That's not bad at all.
We believe every sport should be epic.
Berlin.
So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Have you heard the exciting news? Collectibles Guru is now here on Sporty Stuff TV with brand new shows every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Join me, Gary Ashburn, as I share with you my knowledge and passion of the incredible world of collectibles and memorabilia with amazing shows packed full of genuine signed treasures you won't want to miss. So make sure you tune in to Collectibles Guru every Sunday night at 10 p.m. only here on Sporty Stuff TV.
Right, well, we're here with Sarah Kins of the sponsors. Sarah, great night's racing, but a night of mixed results, no doubt.
Yeah, it was a tremendous night, a brilliant night for the bitches as well. I thought Bobsleigh Dream and Bucko's Crystal, they were absolutely outstanding, but a mixed result, not a bad result. We're obviously glad to get Coulavani Hoffa beaten. He was 2-11 favoured in that heat tonight, and Bucko's Crystal was 33-1 in the anti-post before that performance tonight, so I'd imagine she'll go into about 20s after that, but we don't know really how the outright's going to look. We have to wait for the draw, but the likes of your Scaglietti, your Deladida, Droopy's Bro, they're very draw dependent. So after the draw, if they're in trap 1 or 2, you can imagine that their prices are going to be slashed quite significantly. Coulavani Hoffa will remain the favourite based on the simple fact that he is our biggest loser in the book. He's red figures and he will remain our favourite. I'd imagine he'd stay about 11-4, but again we have to wait for the draw. I'd say he will be more than likely in trap 6, but you have to wait to see what's in again. No shock results really. I think Clonus Duke was probably the biggest one to go out tonight, but as I mentioned, I thought the bitches were sublime. I love Scaglietti. I think a lot of that dog, and Ian Fortune had asked me last week because I wasn't really sure. Last year I was so keen on Born Warrior in the outright, and he says, who are you going to put your bet on? And I was like, do you know what, Bobsleigh Dream. I just think she's so versatile, so consistent, and after tonight I'm going to stick with her and I'm going to add in Scaglietti, so I hope they're a nice price still in the anti-post, you know, because the fact that Coulavani Hoffa is so short, you're still going to get a lot of value in there as well.
Sarah Kinsella there, and just a bit of a shout out to Sarah. She's been brilliant tonight putting up photos of all the winners on Twitter, so make sure you go check her out. Now we've got the Racing Post headlines for tomorrow. Obviously we mentioned earlier we've got the Opens on at Henlow, the Henlow Maiden Derby, Throttle ready to motor home. That's Hot Throttle there. It's going to be running in the 8:23. Also over at Romford, you've got the Puppy Cup starting, and obviously Nathan Hunt's unbeaten User, well, Cunningar User, is going to be looking to try his best at that very impressive winner last time out. And then Rush and Azura over Oxford for that stunning final, which is on Friday, the British Bred Oaks final. You can watch here. Now we're going to head back to Rob over at Shelbourne.
Right, well, we're coming up to our final race of the night on the Racing Post Greyhound TV. We've seen all the Derby action, and we've got this Resets Open on race plate, Robert Gleeson, and you've got 2 big chances.
Yeah, 2 good chances, and they're well drawn, they're the right way around. Yeah, I hope they are anyway. Yeah, but yeah, no, there's 2 nice young dogs. Yeah,
Tico and Mandolin, they both ran against each other last week. Mandolin won, but was Tico maybe the unlucky one?
Well, he got a little. When he came out, he got a touch off the tree bit. Right. Maybe that cost him a length, but yeah, she's plucky out in front, and she's good area, like, and that's every in her trials. That's the way she's been running. Yeah. You know what I mean, she's been breaking in front and leading the whole way. So, no, I'm happy with the 2 of them.
Yeah, obviously when we were down coming up to the Derby, we were chatting, and you had mentioned these 2, you know, having high hopes of them, and they haven't let you down so far.
No, hope they don't let me down tonight, but no, the 2 of them, they were doing good schooling trials, you know what I mean? So, and they haven't much 5-2-5s. They have a good few sprints in them, alright, but 5-2-5s they wouldn't have much. But no, the 2 dog is probably more 550 our dog, right. I'd say next year, hopefully. But 2 of them are well in themselves. We have a touch of the cough at the minute in the kennel, but right. They seem to be in good form.
Yeah, and I suppose if you beat the 1 dog, you're more than likely going to win with one of them.
The one, well, I think the 4 dog is an on-runner now. Okay. So it might open it a bit for the bitch and 3 as well, because she's inclined to move out. So, but the 1 dog is a very good dog, and he probably has the box. He's on the inside. Sure. But finals are finals, and anything can happen.
Absolutely, it's better to have 2 chances than 1. And quickly up to Chico, we're going to see him next week in the plate. He ran last week. Are you hoping for better to come?
He was a bit unlucky last week to go out. He broke probably too well, and he just got touched off at the bend. Look, it happens. And last night, actually, I thought he ran well, but he ran a bit flat in himself. Now, he was coughing slightly, but he seems to be coming around, so we'd expect a big improvement now for next week.
And hopefully these 2 can cheer you up.
Hopefully they will, yeah. Hopefully.
All right, best of luck.
Thanks.
So we have the final now. Obviously, it's stated there, Celine's Zach is a non-runner. Will be a vacant box from Trap 4, and Groucho's Duke at 5-4 is your favourite. But we're going to show you Droopy's Mandolin first, who was a worthy winner last week. Very quick out the boxes. Was drawn 1, but got 3 tonight, Dave.
Yeah, 1, 4 and 6 your dogs to focus on here. Droopy's Mandolin switches from the inside to the white jacket, which I didn't think would be a problem in terms of race line, but obviously going to have 2 greyhounds up her inside here. But she's very impressive. She's undefeated in 3 starts. She'll need to get her skates on out the boxes to clear the inside duo, which I think might be a tall order, but she's an exciting sort nonetheless.
Yeah, certainly it looks that way. He's been brilliant throughout the competition, and obviously last week's other winner went to Groucho's Duke, who takes trap 1 tonight. Obviously was drawn 4 last week, but this was a performance and a half, to say the least.
Yeah, 4, 5 and 1 here. Doesn't dive inside, but as 1 out of 2, 28.31, as a 28.23 on the card as well. Bags and bags of pace. And the fact is they've got to clear Groucho's Duke, whereas he just sort of has to be level with them at the turn because he's got that inside line. So I'm going to be with the top here. It's hard to be against. Right, I did get a message from Monmore trainer Pat Curtin, just chat earlier on about the seedings, etc. And he says, I had the benefit of working with one of the longest serving racing managers. He told me that the essence of seeding from traps between bends 1 and 2, as after the race pans out, the dogs move to get the view of the hare and gain better position, etc. You did with a short clip to the turn. McNairs were far less likely to run as they would only be reaching top speed, leaving the second bend. Hence why, as you said, it's very hard to hold yourself at that point when reaching maximum acceleration. I think I'm right in saying none of them had run races over the distances or tracks to date. So he was within his rights to change his seeding if he felt it would be beneficial, or more importantly, of no danger, with it being a short run to the turn. What's with the big hoo-ha? It's done, it's happening, deal with it, move on. Moreover, to see this moaning culture daily since lockdown. Thought you were spot on with your comments. So there you go, the view of Pat Curtin, who would know a thing or two about the 6:30, I suppose, being a local trainer there. But yeah, dogs are not tearing into the turn, are they? That 6:30. I mean, it will rumble on, no doubt. And then the draws, I think, it's being made Monday.
Monday at the GB
crucial
offices.
Again, just as it's always been. You know, the 6 bend at Sheffield, the 6 bends at Monmore. You know, the draw's always crucial. You'd rather be on the inside with such a short run to the turn.
I think it could make a huge difference. The outright prices for the competition.
Lynx Maverick's going to be short for the Gold Cup, and whatever draw he gets.
Yeah, he has got an absolute engine in him, hasn't he? Tom's kennel's obviously very much in form. Wish him all the best for next week. You going through, but looking at this final tonight, you say you're with Groucho's Duke, aren't you, Dave?
Yeah, the inside line, I think, can be level here and still win. So
yeah, I think he's. It'd be interesting to see, being lined up for the puppy derbies. Few youngsters tonight that've been on the card at Shelbourne that could be featuring in that. Quite a few that qualify, but to say how the speed that Groucho's Duke has already got, and he's only a December 21 whelp, it is pretty scary to see the prompts he's already put in. I mean, obviously last week's semi was absolutely jaw-dropping, the way he kept pulling forward and building momentum. There's just no getting away from him doing that 28-23. But Droopy's Mandolin will certainly be looking at her unbeaten record so far. She's got pace to burn out the boxes, found time through each round. Another youngster, September 21 pup. So quite a few looking to keep improving. God, I don't know about you, Dave, but I'm ready for a lay down after all this stunning racing tonight.
God, I love it. I'll be getting home, probably watching a few videos.
I know, watching some of them back.
I'll be getting ready for tomorrow. So, yes, it's always another race. There's always another winner. Tomorrow's another day. And I was just looking through some of the results. I think this, as open as the Summer Stayers Classic is, I think, with the McNairs holding a strong hand, you do well to argue against From Post to Pillar being clear fav, having been so far ahead on the clock.
I certainly do. Now, here's our last for us at Shelbourne. Let's hand you to Ian.
There is the bell for the final of the resets. 0-1, 5-2-5. In 1, Groucho's Duke. 2 is Droopy's Tico. 3, Droopy's Mandolin. 4 is Mbappe. And 6 is Unbeatable. The hare coming up behind Traps. Racing, good start by Trap 3 in the middle. Droopy's Mandolin leads to the bend. From in second, 1 Groucho's Duke. Then comes 5 Savannah Mbappe, but out front and Droopy's Mandolin. Now tackled by Groucho's Duke, who's forced to check. And it's Droopy's Mandolin leads down the far side. Groucho's Duke, an Unbeatable closing, but out front and Droopy's Mandolin. She's still unbeaten. Well, she make it 4 from 4. She's clear into the home straight by 3.5. 6 staying wide. Unbeatable. Groucho's Duke, no more to give. Droopy's Mandolin, 4 from 4. Away and gone. Second is 6 Unbeatable. Groucho's Duke third. The winning time 28:45.
28:45, exactly the time that she did last week. A stunning bit. She's been unbeaten throughout this competition and has done it again in the final. Bags of early pace from her. She just got pace to burn out the boxes, and Groucho's Duke really stuck to the inside rail there, but it was a bit of a downfall there, just catching her back legs, Dave.
Yeah, I think 3 did eventually come over to the rail, just almost leaving the second bend there, and just squeezed 1 out. And then 1 seemed to put in an extra stride, I thought, at the third turn as well there. But yeah, an exciting sort is Droopy's Mandolin. She's yet to taste defeat. She's bred to be decent. Loggy Blake, Droopy's Curio, September 21, and she's now 4 from 4. Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely stunning bitch there. One to certainly keep an eye on. Now, just looking at tonight's Trap Challenge, it is a dead heat between Traps 1 and 4. They will share the spoils. Make sure you can get that result from that last race on our website, and do tune in tomorrow for a full day of action with Phil and Tony in the morning for Doncaster and Harlow. But for now, it's a good night from us.
Racing Post Greyhound Television, brought to you in association with Bet365.com, Betfair, Betfred, Coral, Ladbrokes, Paddy Power, Unibet, and William Hill.